Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Planning Board meeting for Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. The time is now 7:03. First, I'd like to introduce our interim planner and our new administrative assistant. So, Eve, if you want to just say a little bit to the board, introduce yourself, and...
Sure. My name is Eve Tapper, and I am the interim town planner, or director, I guess, director of community development. And I'm here part-time, temporary, until the town is able to find someone full-time. Usually I'm here on Tuesdays, and I'll come to the planning board meetings as well.
So you're not available full-time?
I am not.
That's another Band-Aid.
Well, I am exactly a Band-Aid. So that,
That's what I mean.
yeah, I have a company
Small
called
Band-Aid.
Planners in a Pinch. And this is what I do. I go to a bunch of different communities at the same time. So I learn from what
It's
other
called
communities do.
Planners in a Pinch?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my God.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's cool.
St. Vincent's Nurses in a Pinch.
Yeah. So that's my business model. But one of the reasons that I do it is also to get into the job so that I can help you find someone who meets your needs. There's all kinds of planners, and there's a different fit for every community. So if I do some of the work while I'm here, then I can help find someone who's really going to do it long-term for you. And I think we all agree, you want someone long-term.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you want someone
Sorry.
long-term, I want you to find someone long-term, but I'm here to help in the interim. So I'll
Appreciate
keep
you being here.
I keep the trains running on time is what I like
There
to
we
say.
go. Thank you.
So do you
Sure.
have a town email yet, or you...
I don't have a town email yet.
So how can people reach you if...
So
Is there-
my email address, until I get a town email address, is etapper, T as in Tom, P as in Peter, ER, at plannersinapinch, all one word, with an S.com. And I'm happy to answer any kind of questions you have if you send that to email. I do think I'm supposed to be getting one, but even so, that one goes to my phone and it shows up, and you probably will get a more timely response if you write me there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate
And
it.
Jennifer?
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I am going to be the new Maria eventually. Maria's
New
only here
Maria.
part-time right now, so I need to pick her brain while she's here.
Are you Maria in a pinch, or are you...
I'm not. I'm Jen, working hard to help you guys out.
Good, so, but you're full-time now?
I am full-time, yes.
Awesome.
I
Good.
do have the town email address, so if you guys need to get in touch with me, certainly email me, and if I can't answer your question, I will find an answer for you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
And do we have an engineer lined up to be used if need be? Did we set anything up?
I don't think we have one set up yet, but oh. Is someone talking in to that regard?
No.
Oh.
Mute it.
So
Mute them.
I don't think that, so I don't have one set up now. I do know that there are companies around here, and I've been talking to Ken Frazier, so we will get that information. I am not an engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm not conservation. I don't have any plants that have continued to grow in my house. And I'm not a lawyer, although I feel like sometimes I play one on TV. So I know some land use, law, and I can certainly answer some questions and potentially. And then, as you know, we have town council, and so we had an issue that was for tonight's meeting where I just asked town council and got an answer from him. And, so I try to know what I don't know, and I will find an answer for you. And it's not that you won't have engineering information, it just won't come from the planning office necessarily.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start with our meeting schedule, 7:07. First item on the agenda, Pine Sand and Stone Company applications for an earth removal special permit and a water resource protection overlay district special permit, 62 Manchog Street. Name and address?
Good evening, Mark Allen, Engineering Associates.
You used to have,
Used to have a chair that
you want
rolled.
to bring it over, or
It's totally up to you. I can put it,
wherever goes right there is fine, or?
if that works for the CV.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Andy Leonard from Pine Sand and Stone, Murray Bristol, Pine Sand and Stone, and we're bringing back the project off of West Street and Manchog Street, properties of St. Denis Cemetery and the Maniacs property. Back in August of 2020, we were here before you initially, you may recall, with a location, access location through St. Denis Cemetery. And that access involved a lot of sort of red tape with the church and a lot of environmental hurdles, i.e. going through the riverfront area, going through the Water Resource Protection District area, some steep grades. So Andy and Murray have gone back to the Maniac property, and the plan you have before you tonight involves access off of West Street. It has a small amount of BVW increase, but we've mitigated that, and we'll be following up with the Conservation Commission for that. But to offset the riverfront area and to offset the Water Protection Resource District, far outweighs a small delta in BVW. You'll also have in your packet groundwater contours done by a consultant. That was another reason for the pause. We had to get some monitoring wells in, get some test pits in, get the hydrogeologist on board, and he has come up with a model to show where groundwater contours are through the area of where we're going to be doing the excavation. That was a baseline that we used to determine the cuts on the property. So you'll see that we have shown a minimum grade of 10 feet above those hydrogeologist groundwater contours. And basically from the site, we're going to have a high point in the, I guess, the northwest, and everything's going to drain to the southeast. We've surrounded the area with swales so that during construction, no sediment runoff will occur outside the limit of work. There, as I say, there's going to be 2 small wetland crossings with the access drive, and those will be mitigated in one spot out by the Maniac's house, out in this location here. So tonight, we just basically want to bring you up to speed. We don't expect, full understanding of the new plans, but would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, either with the previous submittal or with the plans that you have in front of you.
Okay, board?
Back in the beginning, there was talk where the church was going to extend the cemetery. Is that still in conversation?
I don't think so. I think the wetland crossing coming from the church.
Is going to stop that? Because I know that in the beginning, remember how that was brought up?
Yeah.
That was the crossing that they'd extended.
Yeah, so there was some pushback from this board and
Right.
from Concom.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up over here.
All right.
Mike?
The project, once you get started, what's the timeline you think, Andy? Once,
Well, I forget, is there 160,000 yards? So that would be something like we've done before, negotiate, so if it's 1,000 yards a day, it'll be simple math.
Mike, did you have
If it's
anything?
100,000 yards a day, it's like 2 days.
a couple of weeks, yeah, right?
Aaron?
Well,
Anything?
no.
Jake? So are you planning to address the concerns that the board had in August about the traffic and the trucks and the condition of the roadway and the bridge on West Street?
Yeah, so I think we discussed that internally at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can go with the highway department and look at the condition of the road, come up with a way to assess it pre and post, and what the ramifications are. I think that,
My biggest concern would probably be when school starts up, you're doing
Yeah.
business, then school buses.
yeah, I did, so I remember previously, Ernie, the board yourself had mentioned concern about the width. I found myself here in town early, so I measured Glen Street and that, so Glen Street, which was about 18 feet, this is 23, so still narrow, but we managed pretty well at Glen Street. Much less gravel quantity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be looking for some mitigation for safety. That is a right-of-way versus Glen Street had some curve in it. It's pretty dangerous on the right-of-way, yes. Speeding, so signage, I don't know what else we can put there during the term of removal.
I've got some ideas.
Okay. I mean, it's
I'm not gonna
the
share.
straightaway, that's okay. You don't need to share tonight. But that's what I would be looking for safety, so that we don't need a police officer there at all times. Because if it does get to that point, then I think we're going to probably put that in a condition that we would require that. There's been a number of fatalities on West Street.
Really?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
standard boilerplate plus whatever else.
There's been multiple people crashing into electric poles, so if you've got the heavy equipment at certain times of the day, the
I'm thinking
trucks,
of some kind of flashing.
increased
light or
trucks.
something.
Yeah, just during the operating hours.
Yeah.
So I think it's a better overall, a net positive versus the other entrance.
Yes, I do.
But the condition of the roadway, assessing any damage that's caused to the road. What were you gonna say, Mike?
No, you're gonna mostly 10-wheel, triax, trailer down.
Well, you
Trailer
know,
down, you're gonna move it more, quicker.
Yeah, it's not a far haul, so one of the issues that we're confronting here is the gas main, the existing gas main.
Is that one, though, is that an active or a dead line?
It's dead.
That's the dead.
Dead line.
Still dead line.
But where it lands on the property, there's a pretty severe incline and decline, so we have to move around it a little bit.
Well, the thing is, like I had that same line in my backyard. Call them up, but I mean, people cross it every day.
It's, well, it's not the fact that, we prefer to remove it, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
to get a better grade of the road,
Right.
access.
Yeah.
But right now, the price tag outweighs the,
It was,
functionality of
Yeah,
it.
they gave us an estimate of $80,000.
Who does, they do? Amazing when they excavate it, Well, my big concern is if you're doing trailer dumps, is your turn radius coming in and out of that little area, you're gonna be turning into the oncoming traffic, as you know, and stuff.
Yeah,
So that's something that you really, if you're gonna be doing in your line of sight coming in and out of there, how is it? Has anybody looked at that?
Line of sight is fine.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be
It's
sitting up higher,
Yeah.
but still, the idea is the car is gonna be coming around, and that, if there's.
It's
issues with line
excessive
of sight-
speed. Yeah, it's excessive speed in straightaways.
Well, let us look at a turning radius
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
complements that. I think that it'll be a large percentage of 10-wheelers because of the proximity and
Right.
it can get in and out of there
Right.
easier.
And then at the end of the days, and especially with the rains lately, debris from your gravel area coming onto the road,
Yeah.
will it be cleaned up in the evening so that vehicles that ain't pick up the rocks,
Yeah.
stones and all that coming off?
And then
Yeah, so
Will it be-
obviously, we'll keep the stone entrance. We just purchased the Elgin sweeper,
Yeah,
being delivered tomorrow, not brand new,
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be brand new.
but in good shape.
But
Just
you keep,
That's a
yeah,
typical
all
con-
this stuff all off.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, it's a typical
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna be
condition,
getting
anyway.
windshield bills and people
Yeah.
really start to go off the hook.
Yeah.
Having gravel and rocks.
No, we don't want that.
Typical condition.
Yeah,
that
I'm
we
just
have for
saying
the
that,
earth
just so it's
removal.
known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more quick question for me. The crossing's going to be permanent?
They are, yes,
Precast culverts.
correct.
So I believe the Maniacs have the possibility of getting a rear lot.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're working with them to enhance that.
Okay. Eve, do you have anything?
I did not
Okay.
have a chance to look at this slide.
Okay. All right, anyone else from the board? Yep.
Test pits, so we determine where the elevation of the water is at. How-
Oh, yeah, so one of the last things that what Bill had us do was, he came out that day, we hired the local hydrogeologist and did an in-depth analysis of groundwater.
Okay, yeah, that was, it's in your
Yeah,
packet.
yeah.
Okay, nothing else from the board? This is a public hearing. Anyone have any questions or concerns on this agenda item? Name and address. Anyone online for 62 Manchog Street, earth removal? Are we changing this address for this project? Because it is not 62 Manchog Street anymore.
Yeah, so now it's
Now we're West Street.
something different. Yeah, West Street, yeah.
So we'll talk to Eve about that for proper advertisement and a butter notification.
The abutters remain the same.
Everybody? Okay,
It's because it's from the corner of each property.
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, the abutters never change, it's just an
Okay.
access point.
Yeah, address
You
though.
just put their address on the
Yeah, I'll just
plans.
double check it, unless you already included West
Probably
Street.
on the paperwork, because
Okay.
there were two co-applicants.
Yeah, so maybe this agenda item is just saying we just need to add the West Street address on our agendas.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
And put the house
Has
numbers on
bonding
too.
been determined yet?
Why is that address more appropriate than,
Because we're not coming
coming
off
in that way
in
anymore.
62 Manchog anymore. There's no
Come off West
access.
Street. Right.
Manchog was the cemetery.
This is West Street
yeah, no,
only.
oh, West Street only.
Yeah.
I thought we were still, he was still coming out the other side. Mention.
And Mark, when do you think you'll be ready for another hearing?
I think if we meet with Ernie and go over the,
Yeah, if we run out there now, we could be back by the
August 26th? Well, that's the next meeting, right?
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Would you and John, will,
Yeah, yeah. Bonding, do we have anything done on bonding yet?
No.
No.
No. You're gonna have everything ready for August 26th, though, because you have a lot of time.
Yeah, similar to what you did with.
Everything's gonna be
Glen Street.
perfect.
yeah, acreage times,
Yep.
I guess what I, wondering, when we do the acreage times, what we paid at Glen Street per acre, or I'll look that up.
Yeah, whatever that, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Let the board decide.
peer review, do we want to discuss that?
I would
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
So maybe we should have a vote on, how are we doing that?
I don't know. I would think, though, that given that it's already the end of July, that we're probably not going to be able to have a peer review turned around.
Well, we don't want to run naked. We want to have somebody reviewing this for
Well,
us.
No,
Maybe
no.
so, we might need to adjust the
Well,
timetable.
that's what I was saying. Not that you
Exactly.
shouldn't have it, but that you're,
Right.
maybe you shouldn't you should move it to the
But we gotta
meeting in
start somewhere.
September, because we've got to figure out who's going to do the peer review and get that set, and I haven't, Jen will help me work on that.
Is
Well,
Leonard
can we-
Engineering still under contract? Is Leonard Engineering
I
still?
think we,
Yeah, anything under 50 grand. So I think if
Well, we
you
have to
get a
send that.
motion for the board to allow for a peer review
Yeah, yes.
of the project materials, I think as long as it's timely from the engineer, and then we pass the packet on, they're going to be paying for the
Right.
peer
no, I know,
review.
I just want to make sure that whoever,
We can make a
But-
motion tonight for that, though.
Yeah,
We can
right.
make
so that we can get the ball
Yeah.
rolling.
yes, right, so I'm just concerned that it's not all going to be done by the next meeting on the
Well,
26th.
we'll just get there.
Well, maybe, well, it's been around for a long time.
Okay.
They've been working on it since
Yeah,
one
this-
summer
Why don't
ago.
we aim for the 26th?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
if the peer review is not done, we're not going to bring it back without having it, so then we'll just move it
Yeah.
on the
Right.
26th.
Continue it, that's
So
all.
let's
Perfect.
vote to do that, and
Okay.
we'll go from there and then see what the peer review will do, so.
So the applicant is in agreement for replenishing the 53G account as needed to review the project.
Good.
Yeah, so I think that if the board authorizes sending it out to a third party, that when the packet is pretty complete, we can send it to either Graves or LEI.
Right.
We don't need to bid it out.
Right, right.
Whoever can turn it around in a timely manner.
Okay.
Whoever's.
Let's vote on
We
it.
don't have to bid it out, but I mean, if it meets a certain threshold, you have
Right.
to get bids.
50 grand. Yeah, it's 50,000, I'm pretty sure, for 53G.
Yeah, we usually ask for more than one.
Oh, yeah, but they need to give the amount of money based on what gets submitted to
The
them.
scope.
So it's
Scope,
the chicken or the egg. So I think the egg comes first, I'm pretty sure.
As long as it doesn't go
Okay,
over,
sure.
Could be
as
the
it doesn't
chicken,
go
you
over
never know.
53G.
Yeah, 50,000.
53,000, 53G.
No, I don't think.
No, I know it's 50,000.
No, I
Okay,
think
so,
you're right. I think we can pick one or
Right.
the other. We don't have to ask them to bid it out. We could, if, I
We want to
don't,
ask them who can do it.
exactly, so.
In a
Yes.
timely manner.
I'm
Yes.
gonna-
Over.
Since I'm only here on Tuesdays, I'm gonna ask Jen to talk to Ken on Monday, who I know has some experience with these. We'll figure it
So-
out.
Not this, no. We
the
we
board,
have to vote on it.
yeah,
No,
the
no, no, no,
board
no, I'm
needs to.
saying after you vote on it, we'll make sure that we figure out what's gonna happen and work with the
Yeah,
applicant to
okay.
Right.
get the
That's good.
information.
That's fine.
You guys vote, and then we'll
Yep,
figure out
yep,
how it
yep.
works.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead, Ernie. You know
Go
how
ahead,
to
make a
vote.
motion.
He's
You want the motion
relaxing.
for the peer review?
Yeah.
Make a motion to have peer review of this project, as long as it's under the $50,000 threshold.
Okay,
Second.
motion made, seconded by Aaron. All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing,
Next meeting is
On August
That's
26th.
26th.
what time?
I'll
7
make a
o'clock?
motion
Yep.
to.
I'll make a
Put
motion to continue the
Go ahead.
public hearing for Pine, Sand, and Stone to the 26th at 7 PM.
Second that.
What's the date?
Made, seconded,
What's the
all those
date?
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
What's the date again?
thank you very much.
26th.
Yeah, August 26th.
And
Do
then
we have a time? Do we need to know?
7 PM.
Go.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Yeah, all right.
So since we have Pine here, number 5 under discussion, request for earth removal extension. If we want to have a little update, there's a letter in your packet requesting the extension, front side of the pit
Lackey
closest to
Dam Road.
Lackey Dam Road. And we have a chart and name and address.
Murray Bristol, Pine, Sand, and Stone,
And
1 Lackey Dam Road.
do you want to just show us the section,
So,
point to the plan?
working in progress. So we've worked from Phase 2A, and we're into Phase 2B. We're not finished, so we're just asking for a continuance based on, continuing operation.
How many extensions have you received on this one?
This would be the first.
Oh, okay,
It's a 3-year permit,
okay.
which I don't know if you want to modify that to a 1-year or if you want to keep the 3 in place.
Are you requesting 3 additional years for the extension?
At this point, I think we can live with 1.
Okay. Board, any questions?
No.
You know, pretty straightforward.
I'll entertain a motion to grant the extension for 1 year for
I'll make the
Noble
motion.
Mountain.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Grant the earth removal permit renewal, Pine, Sand, and Stone.
Yep.
1 Lackey Dam Road.
ER 180619. Motion's made,
I'll second.
second by Jake. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, got 1 year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comes fast.
Yeah, did you tell me that? Okay,
Cooperstown.
next item on the agenda, 726, is public hearing, Cooperstown Road Realty Trust, application for special permit and a definitive subdivision residential compound, Hawk Hill Farms. Let me just locate the advertisement. Do you have it? Oh, I got it. Oh, thank you. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 80-T and 81-U, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 9, the Town of Douglas Rules and Regulations governing the subdivision of land in Douglas, the Town of Douglas zoning bylaws, Section 4.4, residential compounds, and Section 9.3, special permits, the Douglas Planning Board will hold a public hearing for owners Robert S. and Christine Chapman, Joseph E. and Megan C. Schlossman, and Cooperstown Road Realty Trust for an application for a 4-lot definitive residential compound subdivision entitled Hawk Hill Farms, a plan by Andrews Survey and Engineering dated June 11th, 2021. Property location is 768 and 772 Northwest Main Street, Assessors Map 109, parcels 1, 2, and 3, and Assessors Map 123, Parcel 8, public hearing is being held on Thursday, July 22nd, 2021 at 7:15 PM in the Community Meeting Room, Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. A copy of the application may be viewed in the Community Development Department during regular business hours. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the proposed plan should appear at the time and place designated. Okay, who is presenting for this project? Name and address.
Jude Goggin from Andrews Engineering. Can I share my screen?
I believe so. Could you give him, thank you.
It's not letting me share the screen.
Are we an administrator also?
I have no clue how to run that thing.
Oh, okay.
All I know is mute.
That's good, that's a top one, right? If you click on him, if you right-click on him.
Seems to be working on it.
Yep.
We wait,
Trying to
Yeah,
share the screen.
yeah, do that.
share the screen.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, you see it at Oculus.
Hi.
You see it as.
Give it a try, Jude.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay. You guys see that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
This project, I'm here representing Cooperstown Road Realty Trust at 768 and 772 Northwest Main Street. Currently, it's four lots, totaling 79 acres. The proposal is to develop a residential compound for this property, and consisting of, well, it's been 4 lots, it's been 6 lots. Right now, we're talking about 4 lots, but parcel A is actually a buildable lot off of a residential compound. It meets the frontage. This is mislabeled. This is the frontage off of Northwest Main Street. The frontage off of actual common driveway has 266 feet. So it does allow us to get a driveway into that parcel A and still maintain the 100-foot woody buffer zone. So we are also proposing to combine parcel C with lot 1. That's all one lot. So these are some of the changes that we know we need to make based on some of the comments that were made by staff. Welcome, Eve. Thank you for your comments. I do appreciate you getting into this. This is an old project with a new meeting. This started out as a 10-lot residential subdivision back in 2018. It morphed into a 9-lot residential compound in 2019. And here we sit looking at 5 lots for the residential compound in 2021. We've had several back and forths with Bill Cundiff, former town engineer. And we got to a point where we were looking at the existing grade of the road, and so the plan was to utilize the existing common driveway and widen it out. And we were trying to, we had a 15.5% grade at a certain point in the roadway. We were trying to maintain that. We did receive comment from Bill previously, and in turn, we reached out to the fire department. The fire department was not thrilled with the 15% for that amount of lots out there. So they told us that they wanted to see a 10% maximum. So what we've done is we've given the 10% maximum through the, and lifted the road up through this area right here. The other thing we're doing is we're we're super elevating this driveway, so the whole driveway tips in towards the site. It does not tip away from the site, it tips towards the site. So all the groundwater, or not the groundwater, the stormwater will get pushed off into a swale and then go underneath the road and then exit where it drains that way now. We're just raising the road up and putting a pipe in to get it to drain that same area. We did do stormwater calculations on this per bill's request also, and we found that a lot of the analysis points were the same because we weren't adding a lot of pavement, we were just widening out the road in certain areas. We were going from 16 to 20 feet, we're proposing 22 feet of clear width, and that also comes from a direct conversation with the fire department, because they want to have 22 feet clear width to get up to the sites. One portion of the cul-de-sac where we did add a little bit additional pavement, and it was jumping the numbers up for the pre and post to meet the stormwater runoff. We put in a infiltration basin in the center of the cul-de-sac. So all the pavement in the cul-de-sac tips in towards this infiltration basin. The water sits in there and it settles out, and then it goes through a pipe and discharges out where it previously discharged out. So those are the things that we were addressing with Bill, and that's where we last left off when we had to withdraw the application itself. So those are the changes, and I don't know if anyone has any specific questions that I can answer for you guys.
So Eve, do you want to just tell the board potential waivers or things that are not quite meeting?
Well, I don't know that, they did ask for a waiver of I believe it's a buffer along the common drive with the neighbor, because they want to use the existing driveway, which is already too close to the neighbor. So that was the one waiver they asked for. My major concern or issue with this development is it's creating four, and I guess maybe parcel A is now going to be considered a buildable lot, but it needs to be combined with one of the other parcels around it, because you need to have 135,000 square feet in the RA district, 150% of what's required. And it's only 99, maybe it's 100, 99 and change thousand. So, but it seems to me that there's four, the plans that were submitted are 4 buildable lots and then 4 out parcels, and I'm not really sure what the purpose of those are. And there is another lot, map 123 lot 7, which is owned by the same people, that is not included in this development at all.
Yeah, what's the whole game plan? Yeah.
So, right, and I think, Jude, as you had said earlier, that this has been submitted over the last 7 years with a variety of different number of units, and I've seen one that's up to 10. So I just kind of wanted to know what the plan for all of the land is at any one time, and if the planning board wants to approve this plan, I would suggest that it's somehow right that parcels A through D are not re-subdividable, or however
Further subdivided.
however you want to state that. Because only one, I know that you guys had a long discussion about ownership issues with residential compounds, but the way that I read that is that in addition to that it has to have some common ownership, it also, there's only one is allowed. So what in fact are they planning to do with A, B, C, and D down the line, and would they be able to do that? So I wanted to kind of know, kind of straight out. The other thing is that there is a section of the bylaw that I put in my memo. It talks about the findings. It's actually not in the bylaw, sorry, it's in the rules and regulations. The findings that the board has to make in order to approve it. And the last one in particular was what caught my eye. F is produce less irregularly shaped or contorted lot configurations.
Sure.
And I'm not sure how what they call lot 3 is less irregularly shaped than others. It also does say that this has to be compared to an orthodox subdivision plan. The problem perhaps with the is with the rules and regulations. It doesn't say that they have to submit a proof plan or an orthodox subdivision so that you can determine whether there's going to be more or less lots. So we don't ask them to submit a subdivision, but then we ask the board to compare it to a subdivision that we haven't seen. So I don't know how that worked. I did talk to Jude this week before and told him what my concerns would be and suggested that if they don't draw a proof plan or an orthodox subdivision, at least if he could have an answer to how the board could make all of these findings, because that is something that needs to be done.
Let me ask a question.
Yep.
I think, to your point, is that it's like, parcels, and then there's lots, and it's easy to understand the lots, and you're saying, or we've heard that, what are these parcels? Why are they being held out of and not, encompassed into the lots?
Right.
And what is the game plan for these parcels? Someone to bring a mobile home there and park it in the summer, and, I mean, what's going on? Why isn't it included in, it's not ours to say probably, but we're just asking what the plan is.
Right, and none of the parcels, all of the lots.
They're landlocked.
Lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 have the required frontage
Frontage,
or
right.
allowable frontage and lot size for a residential compound.
Yeah, what is parcel
None of
C?
the parcels have they're either missing the frontage or they're missing the
They're-
size or both.
They're landlocked.
Yes.
Right? All-
Well, A and B are not landlocked, but
Right, 'cause
they're
they're
not
up front.
big enough.
Right.
And then C and D are landlocked, and then the parcel that is not included is, there's a parcel, it's not included, but it's adjacent to parcel
Right.
B and to C.
Maybe June can,
Right, so
Late
I don't
levity
have
to this?
answers for you, I just had questions.
June?
I can answer almost all of those questions.
Oh, good.
Parcel, we'll start with parcel C, that's the easiest. Parcel C is going to be added on this revised plan. I always wondered why parcel C was separated from lot 1. I got the answer from Byron tonight, because he has a little bit more background on this than I do. But when we need to revise this plan based on discussions tonight, we're going forward, parcel C needs to be added to lot 1, because
Okay.
currently there's an existing barn and a tennis court that Mr. Chapman wants to combine with parcel C so that he's in conformance with zoning. Right now, that barn, the existing garage is not in conformance with zoning. As you can see, the setback line in the barn right now. So parcel C should be combined with lot 1, so parcel C would go away in a revision.
Good.
Parcel A, same thing, I wondered why it was always a parcel A. The latest intent was to just do 4 lots, but because there was an opportunity to have 5 lots coming off of the common driveway, Bill insisted that we consider it a lot. So we paid for the fee for the 5th lot, we paid for, the filing fee and the special permit fee. Noticing what you guys were talking about tonight, it's got a little less area than it needs to be a buildable lot per the residential compound. So my discussion with the client tonight was that we could take a little bit from parcel D and give it to parcel A to make that an actual lot. So that'll turn into lot 5 with the required frontage and the required area.
Before you go on,
The intent would-
can I ask, so you are using parcel A as the buffer, the 100-foot vegetated buffer from the public way?
Correct.
So are you going to be able to fit a house on that lot with the, I don't know, I'm just asking.
And also
Yes.
parcel A and B total 135.
Right.
Right, no, but he's
So-
taking it from D for some reason.
Why are we
Because
combining
I'll
A and
get to
B?
that
Okay,
Give me time.
sorry.
I think B is going to
It's
be
a synopsis.
combined.
I wanted to jump
B
in.
is going to be combined with the one below that is not part of it.
To answer your question, you just asked Eve about gaining access in a house on the parcel A.
Yep.
There's 266 feet of frontage, and we're only required to have a 100-foot wide indigenous vegetative buffer. So we have plenty of room to come in with a driveway after that 100 feet. We have about 166
Okay.
feet to come in with a driveway.
So parcel A will become lot 5, or whatever you want to call it.
Correct.
Okay.
And what else will that encompass? What other parcels? Anything more?
Part of D.
Would they have to take a little bit from parcel D or parcel B to make that area work? The intent of parcel B was and is to, once the residential subdivision is done, parcel B will be combined with the other lots they own that's not part of this residential subdivision, and that will become a frontage lot. So that'll become an A&R lot after the residential compound is.
And what about the rest of
Should've
parcel
just
D? If you were
done
just
it
taking
all
a bit of
together.
it, what happens to the rest of parcel D?
Well, I asked that question tonight too, and I thought that we would split that between, trying to find.
B could go anywhere, any place.
The intent, this whole property's in 61, chapter 61 now. So when everything's all said and done, some of these parcels are gonna be put back in, the whole property's getting taken out of 61, chapter 61, and then we're gonna put certain parcels and certain portions of the other lots back into chapter 61 when everything shakes out and the property lines all get agreed upon. So the intent of parcel D is to either give that area to lot 1 and I think lot 3, or to just keep it as a separate parcel, and so be it be landlocked or not, it'll stay in chapter 61, but it'll be owned by one of the other lots.
Recreation, tax exemption.
I'm not a big proponent of creating landlocked lots.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
Not at all.
yeah, I agree with that too.
And I brought that issue up several times
Landlocked
over the
lot.
course of these plans, and there's also a piece of property that abuts this, that I've asked several times, if you're gonna develop it, why can't you create an easement or a right-of-way for that piece of property that's already landlocked? So has there been any consideration given to that?
No,
I think there should be.
Because when we do the subdivisions, we always have the easement to the other parcels, when we did the subdivisions, when we do our subdivisions.
On
Off the
subdivisions, we do,
cul-de-sacs,
right.
we typically have an easement for future use. And what was that subdivision a while ago?
Up off
that-
of.
yes,
Up of.
yes.
Yeah. The Webster, the one that wanted to have a gate, he wanted to have the, he wanted to be the
Yes.
gatekeeper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't
Yes.
allow that.
Right,
Right.
but that was really important, and I thought that was in our regs somewhere that said that there needed to be,
A projected,
easement,
a projected
yeah.
easement to the next piece
oh,
of property.
it was the Riley land, too. Brookside,
On which one?
Brookside, onto Brookside.
Yes, right.
Wasn't there an easement given?
A water easement.
Yeah.
Or a water line,
Yeah,
but not an access, I don't
Okay.
believe, just easement for work on the water line or sewer lines or whatever it was that was coming through there. But there might have been I'm not sure, there might have been a projected easement for right-of-way also.
Can I say, bottom line is, he's gotta come back.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Yeah,
he's
that's
gotta
all.
come back.
You
Yeah.
just gotta clean this up, and you hear what we're saying about not leaving things landlocked and have an easement, and come with your 5th lot, if that's so be it, and then the other thing would be develop, buy later for an A&R, basically, right?
I mean, why aren't we going for the A&R with this as a combo plan?
well, I was told, my understanding of what I was told is you can't do one without the other, because the 4 existing lots are shaped in such a way off of Northwest Main Street that we need to include that parcel B as part of the residential subdivision and create parcel B, then do an A&R. If we did an A&R.
I don't think so.
You do it now.
You guys,
Yeah.
and you guys signed it, we wouldn't have that area available.
How are you gonna have it available after?
Right.
No, look,
Because I think if you don't tell us if you don't tell the board exactly what you're gonna be doing, they could put a condition on it that none of the lots.
Not a buildable lot.
A, B, C,
Subdivided,
D.
and then you can't even do the
Yeah.
A&R.
I'm
Yeah.
sure the owners are listening to this.
A,
and
B,
they're
C,
gonna
D.
talk about it.
That's why they call us
Right.
planning board.
Right.
I think you could do two, you could do them in tandem. So, but the
Yeah.
fact that you've got these random extra parcels is, I think, what's
They could
causing
do it.
consternation. So if we know what you're gonna do with them all, then they can vote on what they need
Right.
to vote
Just do
on,
it. That's all. It's gonna be
Yeah.
done.
and understand what's gonna come out. Otherwise, you've got these lots that we're not sure what are gonna, these parcels that we're not sure what are gonna happen to them, and then that's
We've been looking at this for a
muddying it
while.
up.
Well, I want to say something on this here aspect. I have 2 things. Number one, right now, I mean, I understand the concept. You have a bunch of lines going nowhere right on this drawing. And you know it, and everybody knows it.
Nobody can
You
read
should
it.
have given us a plan that is laid out as what you're speaking of, either highlighted or whatever, so we know exactly how you're gonna divvy up every little lot B and parcel A and this lot and that lot, to get a good idea of what the final game plan is.
Right.
Then the other problem I have, especially with all this rain, and I drive by it every day, is this driveway where it meets Northwest Main washes out Ledgestone and the neighbor across the street. It is a running river coming out of that driveway and going across the road. Period. Drive through it twice a day, and you can see the ruts and everything across the street from all the water coming across the driveway. So that's gonna have to be looked at and addressed, where you're making it all wider, the whole 9 yards, to either reverse pitch where the driveway enters Northwest Main, or whatever in that general area to stop that water from going across Northwest. You gotta stop the water.
Correct.
One way or another, I don't care how you do it, but you gotta stop the water.
So, I think, just, sorry, just in a nutshell, is that we're
Right there.
wide eyes, yeah, eyes wide open on this from us. We're not saying anything oppositional. We just want to see what the game plan is. I hope that the clients are listening tonight. I'm sure they are. And
I think they're there.
okay, so you guys are listening, and you can say your piece about it. But we want a comprehensive plan, and work, it's good. Let's get a plan, that's
But
all.
I think this reminds me of Ledgestone, how we kept extending. Like, that was the one where he,
Yeah.
Yeah, we want it
Cahill,
back,
right?
so we just need
Came in
Yeah.
a couple
Cahill,
times.
yeah.
That's
So
what
now
I
we're
want to-
getting this far, and then we re-subdivide and
Right.
extend the roadway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the plan, the general concept or whatever,
Yeah,
I've got no problem with it.
yeah.
But every time you guys come here,
It's
we
convoluted.
say the same thing and we see the same stuff.
Right.
So nothing is changing as far as what we're looking at. You know?
Parcels I agree with, but we've addressed the drainage, we've addressed the fire stuff, we've addressed the road grades, so it is different.
But present the
No,
parcel.
the
I still
water-
agree that we need to clean up the parcels and call them what they are.
Right.
100% agree with that.
And I brought up last time
You
about
did.
the water crossing over the Ledgestone.
Yeah, and if you can see my little hand on the screen.
Yeah, I do.
Those contours all pitch towards the 774.
Into the lot, into the
And they
lot.
do create a gully, and they do wash out across the road, and that's flat. In the proposed condition, we're regrading that road so that all the water on that road, except for maybe the last 20 feet or so where the gravel area is, that's all now gonna come onto the property, not come across Northwest Main Street and blow out Ledgestone. The way I've got that designed is it's all super elevated towards where it says that 22-foot wide
Yeah.
staging area. It all comes down there. And then that's where it can enter the culvert that's right in this area where that stone wall is. That's where it crosses Northwest Main Street. That's how it should be done.
Okay.
Is not come across the road and wash it out. It should come down into our land and cross underneath and use the existing culvert that's there.
Good to hear.
Then it runs down along
That's
Ledgestone
engineering.
Road.
Which is fine, but you're not showing the culvert, you're not showing where that is, or any of that stuff in any of these drawings.
Whatever the water, however much the water's gonna pick up from you
Show it.
sending water to that culvert's gonna have to be determined too, so you're not running more water across the street in a much larger volume. You might have to do some type of detention right there at that culvert on the street. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna divert the water into the culvert, you can't increase the flow. You're gonna have to figure out how much you're gonna be diverting in there and not allow that culvert to empty on the other side of the road onto Ledgestone with an increased volume than it's getting now.
Right, it can only hold so much, right?
Yeah, it can only take so much at a time. I mean, the pipes, whatever you have to do at that corner right there. Just so we don't get,
It's getting to the same point on Ledgestone, whether it goes over the road or in the culvert. So
Shouldn't be there.
in the culvert, it's gonna go to the same spot as Ledgestone, it's just not gonna wash out.
yeah. But you're gonna be diverting more water into the culvert that crosses under the road onto Ledgestone.
Could they put a retention basin?
So
something that
just
collects?
calculate that so it, you're not doubling the volume of water shooting out the end of the pipe now,
And it comes out on the other side.
What comes out on the other side should be the same flow that's been coming out all along.
Two separate things.
Yeah,
Outflow
that's two
and
separate
then
things.
washout.
That's a town culvert, so if we're gonna increase the volume in it, we have to know about it.
Move along on this.
Can I make one last comment?
I think the plan is generally,
Yeah.
it's coming along, but we can't look at a plan that says we're gonna do this with this parcel and this parcel and that parcel, and we're gonna go on to that. We need to see the final plan, and I
Be
understand
definitive.
you're presenting that to us tonight,
Even though
but
it's not definitive.
we have to look at it when it's all done, and that plan is, the parcels have already been combined, and we know exactly what we're looking at for the final project.
Thank you.
Like I said, my big deal is that water.
I'd also like,
My big thing is the water,
Yep, yep.
I'd also like the applicants to come back with some way to discuss the criteria of the planning board approval for 4.3.3. The planning board needs to make certain findings, and comparing it to something we don't know about. So I don't know how, I'm not telling you you have to do a proof plan. I just would like some kind of information that allows the planning board to make these findings.
I have
Right,
two-
we can't base it on
right
this.
now, which is the original subdivision. It's been submitted to the board, so the board has this deal. And this
That complies,
I don't want to talk about it. It's not what we're talking about.
Residential subdivision.
so just whatever you're going to use as your orthodox subdivision, make sure that you can explain why this one's better than that.
Well, it's few houses.
Right, but I'm not saying that they can't do it, I just
Right.
would like
not-
them to do it instead of
Yeah,
us sit around.
you gotta give us the reasons
You're
why,
right.
right, fewer houses,
Right.
road
I'm-
that's not gonna
I'm
be taken over by the
try to be a
town and
stickler
maintained.
Make sure that you make the
us
findings
the
that you're
reasons.
supposed to make. I don't know what you've
Yeah.
done in the past, I assume
By
you
the
have, but if you
regulations,
haven't, I just want to make sure that,
Yeah,
and I don't want to have to make them up, so I'd like them to tell us what they are.
right.
Okay. And Jude, on your Form D designer's certificate, you've got Richard Mainville, PE. I don't see him stamping these plans. And then that'll have to be
Yeah,
replaced.
I'll have to adjust that. 'cause
Thank
he's
you.
retired now.
Yep. And then on your requests for waivers, do we have any written authorization from the two abutters, the 780 and the 774, for that waiver request for the buffer, indigenous vegetation buffer?
I'm sorry.
Do we have written authorization or no objection letters from the two people that would be affected by that?
No.
Okay. I think the last time we did one where it was less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to
And then,
sandbag to the end.
as
you know.
far, so board, we need to think about that waiver, and then the reduction in the fee for the roadway. I mean, if it needs to be replenished, the applicant would need to replenish it. But I think,
If it runs out.
yeah, I think if it's covering with the 275, then it's fine, but if we run out, on the process, then you'd have to replenish.
Well, we-
So there, we're looking at the length of the proposed new roads. They're requesting a reduction per foot, but I think project review inspection fee for that account, if it becomes, depleted, then you'd have to give us another check.
Right.
I think that's
So,
just an estimate.
Where do we go from here? This is not the
We
plan.
continue the public
Right,
hearing.
right, that's what I'm asking.
Like we've done
But I would really like.
A year.
I would really like to take a look at the landlocked land, and if you're gonna develop this piece of property.
Yeah, let's-
Give some consideration to granting an easement or a right-of-way to that landlocked piece of property, please.
Right, we like what you say, just we want to see that, what you said, actually put down in the plan. So it's perfect. I mean, just do it and let's see what happens. So,
Agreed.
Okay. Board, any other questions? Jude?
I just have a question about the abutters not having an objection to the waiver. We're not, in order to grant the waiver, we need permission or no objection from the abutter.
Well, we want to hear.
We're not proposing to remove any trees or anything along there, so the existing buffer that they have is the same exact buffer that they'll have once this road's improved.
For additional, for more lots, though.
Right, so this is a privilege, and that's why, yeah, there's additional traffic that's gonna,
I don't think.
Be on the
I
roadway.
don't think you, correct me if I'm wrong, this board may think otherwise. I don't think you have to have letters that say they don't object. I think the board just wants to hear what those abutters
yeah.
think about it. Because you're
Sometimes
granting
we
a
request a letter.
You request
do
a
it.
letter.
Sometimes we do, yes.
The last one we did, and then for earth removals.
That way it's on
For
file and it's on
encroachment,
record.
we do too.
Okay.
So,
The
And
vacuum,
if they can't get one, you just.
well, then we take that
grant
into
it.
consideration.
Okay, so you don't have to get it, but then the board takes that into consideration.
right, I mean, you have someone come in here and it's just be really upset about it because they haven't been approached and they didn't know or whatever. Just, we want to dot the i's and cross those t's and.
And
you know,
it's a waiver request.
Yeah.
So,
Which is
we have to-
discretionary.
yes.
Right.
Okay,
So-
board, anything else?
No, I just want to see.
Questions,
I
comments?
just have one comment. I know when Byron usually submits a plan, he does really good with like highlighting in different colors.
I know.
The lines that are there now and what's gonna happen. I think that would just help clear and give us a better picture of what's being proposed.
Yeah, all the graphics are in black and white, it's kind of hard to.
Maybe an overall plan separate from the set, Jude? And you have Eve's notes, she did a very nice chart also. Did you guys see this?
No. Did I? No.
Oh,
Maria
Okay.
sent it. I don't know what she did send.
yeah, we had to,
Today. Chart.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
This chart.
okay.
Yeah.
If board doesn't have any questions,
I have a question.
yep.
Is the end goal here, if I fix all these things, is this gonna go, are you guys leaning towards having this peer reviewed, or are we comfortable with the stuff that Bill said and the things that we've addressed?
Well, Bill just, Bill, that's in the past, Bill. but-
Well, the calculations
Yeah,
would
they're
have
there,
been
right.
different.
And the reason I'm asking is that we can make these revisions and get it to somebody before the next meeting, so we don't have to waste another couple months. We can
Right.
just get it done.
That's
I
fine.
mean, we can vote to authorize it to be reviewed, certain portions of it, the stormwater
Yeah, that's-
and the grading and the water issue.
Right.
So
Show them.
narrow the scope.
Yep.
Right.
But clean up the lots and parcels, that's a no-brainer, you gotta just do that.
Yeah.
So do you want to just do stormwater, drainage, and slope grading of the roadway?
Somebody has to review it. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
It's a heck of a hill coming out of there. Stormwater management's got
Yeah.
to, somebody's got to review it.
Yeah, we
So I
can,
don't want to make these changes and then wait till the next meeting, everyone agrees, and then we vote to have it peer reviewed.
right. I think that's fair.
Let's vote for it now.
So as far as what the board wants reviewed,
So for the review, obviously, the water issues going across the
drainage,
northwest, and the culvert, as you said,
Right, we
right?
have to know
Culvert.
the flows and make sure that there's no
Off-site.
regions to the abutters.
Off-site.
Stop
Any
the water, any water across the
Off-site.
northwest.
Right.
water issue.
As-
Stormwater.
I'm talking about on top of the road.
Yep.
And
Under the road.
no additional washout once it does cross the road from underneath, if it goes through a culvert. In other words, you can't make it worse of what it already is.
And also, I think the peer review should assess the pitch of the road. and
That's
make sure-
already, he's already done that.
Okay, we don't need that peer review at all while they're there?
Well, the general driveway itself, I would think.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I mean,
I would, but
Yeah, I agree.
otherwise,
Yeah, I'd like
how
to
it's
see the
laid out
plan.
isn't a big thing, it's just gotta get laid out right, that's all.
Okay.
that's a long way coming down that hill, and there's a lot of water going to pick up coming down that hill. I think we need to, either their engineer has to give us a stamp plan, or we need to have somebody look at it.
Well, it's if there's something that causes a negative.
Yeah, we have to
we have
cover that
to be able to
somehow.
remedy it, yeah. Okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience, name and address, questions and concerns on this agenda item? Anybody?
Cool.
Anybody on Zoom?
I think we're understanding.
So you
It's
want to
good.
be on the next agenda?
Yeah. Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for the peer review first.
So
Similar.
moved for the Cooperstown Road Realty Trust for the above items mentioned.
Yeah.
Second.
Let's go. It's seconded by Mike Z. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue August 26th.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for Cooperstown Road Realty Trust to August 26th.
7:30?
We want to go 7:30?
Yeah.
For 7:30.
Motion
Second.
made, seconded by Ernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jude.
Thanks, Jude.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Moving right along.
8:03. Okay.
Flying Goose?
So next item on the agenda, public hearing, Flying Goose LLC at 8:04 PM.
Good evening.
I'm just gonna read the article.
Hearing?
Name of applicant, Flying Goose LLC. Name of owner, Cavera Group, Inc. Date and time of public hearing, Thursday, July 22nd, 2021, at 7:30 PM. Subject matter of the hearing, the applicant is requesting approval from the Douglas Planning Board pursuant to the Douglas zoning bylaws, Section 9.4, site plan review, and Section 9.3, special permit. Project description, the project consists of a new 8,000 square foot mixed-use building, 1,600 square foot coffee shop, 4,000 square foot pizza shop, 2,500 square foot retail marijuana with drive-through and associated parking, loading, septic system, and stormwater management improvements. Project site and location, the project is located at 286 Webster Street, Douglas, Mass. Assessors map 205, parcel 3. Place of public hearing, Douglas Municipal Center, Resource Room, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Any person interested or wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. Copy of the application is available for review during regular business hours in the Douglas Community Development Department, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Now you may start. Name and address.
Madam Chair, members of the board, just for the record, my name is Joe Casali. I'm a registered professional engineer in the Commonwealth. Offices at 300 Post Road in Warwick, Rhode Island. With me is Peter Casabian. Peter is the owner, one of the owners of Flying Goose. I also have with me Julie Bartlett. Julie is our architect here for questions. I also have Paul Bannon in the back. Paul is our traffic engineer. And Robert Ferrari, Bob Ferrari, is our water engineer. And with me also is Sandro De Silva. He and I are responsible for the site. If I may, I have a quick PowerPoint presentation. It should include all of our design professionals, and then open it up to questions unless you'd like to get to questions.
You can go with the PowerPoint.
Presentation.
Like this glass off this nice color when it comes to which horse to buy.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Thank you. Thank you, Jake.
So in terms of where we are in the community, right on the line of both Webster and Douglas, specifically on Webster Street in the town of Douglas, as you see, Old Douglas Road, that portions of it that have been abandoned, we can't really track some of the titles down in terms of formal abandonment. But we're here tonight, we own actually two pieces, both recently bought from the municipality. Specifically, 205-2 is a 4.28 acre piece. That's on the southern side of Douglas Road. And then the piece in the front where all of the first phase of the work will be is about 4.88 acres, and it's assessor's plat, or parcel 205-3. Both of them are entirely in your industrial or industry zone, in your adult entertainment overlay district. And as we said earlier, both of these pieces were just recently purchased by us. We went through the RFP process for the development, and fortunately, we were selected. We have had the wetlands delineated. We only found an isolated wetland on the southern or the rearmost piece. But it's our intent with this mixed-use structure to have both a small coffee shop, a small pizza-type restaurant, and that's the 2,800 square foot dispensary. Again, we have engaged with the town in the hosted community agreement to operate the marijuana facility on those parcels back in December of 2020. So programmatically, the coffee shop, the pizza, and that's also the dispensary. As I said, Julie is here if there are any questions. Architecturally, we'll be happy to answer them. That is a rendering of what we think the building will look like. We think it'll fit in natural character with the community, especially with some of the features, including the Adirondack-type gables and that metal roof. We want it to, blend within the community and look as it does in a typical northern, North Massachusetts setting. In terms of the site, we will be able to accommodate everything in the front portion. In terms of parking, 42 spaces are required by your code. We're proposing 60, more than enough for your code, but enough that will meet our needs. We also have a 10-foot wide dedicated drive-through lane, and that's one of the reasons we're here tonight, is to seek the special permit for the drive-through. And also, we have a loading area in the rear. In terms of signage, we have committed through some of the TRCs we went through to have an externally lit sign. We will be in conformance with your sign bylaws. We're showing our dumpster pad, transformer, as well as a 20,000-gallon cistern. In terms of septic, we're proposing everything to come out of the front of the buildings, separation of the grease traps and the septic tanks and so forth with the restaurant, and everything's going to go back to a field of a bed-type system in the rear. That's what the purple, the magenta just came up. That's going to be our crushed stone access for our maintenance. In terms of well, we've located the well radius, so we're outside of the septic. We are encroaching a little bit onto our southern property, but that was the basis of our design, to have as much control as of that radius as we could on our own property. In terms of grading and drainage, all of the site, as you see, flows mostly in a northerly direction from that knoll up front. So we'll take advantage of that and create, a sediment forebay, as well as take the entire building into a stormwater detention area. A photometric plan, you can see some of the lighting that we're proposing, as well as the building packs. It's our intent to be in conformance completely with lighting. We have no spillover proposed anywhere across the property line. So just in terms of where we are and where we've been, back, as I said, in December of 20, we entered that hosted community agreement with the town to operate the facility. That just came up. We have had a couple pre-app meetings with the town back in March and in May. We received a special permit for the facility from the zoning board just a few weeks ago, and we're here before you tonight for the drive-through. And then ultimately, we still have more permits to seek, including a septic approval from your health agent, the well service. We have to obviously get our building permit. But with that, I would be happy to answer questions of you or members of the board, or like I say, our traffic engineer is here, our owner, our architect, as well as our water use specialist. There are more PEs in this room.
Great presentation. I mean, just the great presentation, just the, the layering of understanding where you're putting things, and it's refreshing to see it. So
we want you to understand how we look at this as civil engineers. That's how we unroll a project with the water, the sewer, and so forth and so on. Thank you.
More pizza.
This question I always bring up, where you putting the snow?
Oh, there's plenty of snow removal areas here.
Yeah, but if you curb it all.
No, we wouldn't curb it all. We would push all the snow to the rear. We could actually push some of the snow here. Ultimately, we want that snow to melt and go in through those stormwater management basins, those detention basins.
You want to get it off the road.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You have to have places for it.
But this is not going to be entirely curbed where we're going to displace 15, 20 spaces. There'll be plenty of spaces. Specifically, if this is flat curb, all of this can come to the rear.
traffic study show a sight line?
Yeah, we did. We had shown, I know one of the questions you, or the community had was, we had shown some of the site triangles. We've met with the police chief. We understand the speed limit is maybe not always reflective of the actual speed on the road. The triangles, you know, this is a straight sight distance. We have clear line of sight. I think our study was to confirm if a center turning lane was needed for mostly that left-hand westbound turn. So someone coming westbound, are they going to be able to make that turn without jamming up 116? And I think, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, from a sight triangle, it was not problematic, and the study concluded that that center lane isn't necessary. That was our focus mostly for traffic, because those are the concerns we heard from the community, was lighting, traffic, and drainage.
Right. I'm gonna go back. I want it on your print where you're gonna be putting the stuff.
Absolutely.
Right,
We
so
put those
is
on
that-
prints all the time.
The other thing is on the lighting on the sign on Route 16.
Yep.
As you know, in Webster area and stuff, there's some signage for businesses down that way. And it is like the sun has just been turned on.
Right.
So you have a lighting on there that's gonna be
So this
kind of a
is,
dim type, I mean.
well, it's externally lit, so we're not going to have an interior lit Las Vegas sign.
Las Vegas, right?
Right, so an exterior lit sign to me is going to be, you know, some type of low-level sign that's just going to have lights protruding up above it. Very tasteful. It's not something with LED technology. It's not something blinking lights,
Oh, yeah, I
changing
mean,
lights, anything of that
There's
nature.
no problem with the LED, it's just the idea of, you know, whether you turn it on the sun or if you just illuminate in your sign.
No, I anticipate a monument sign that's going to have two, you know, just small lights looking up from it and giving us some illumination.
Right. No neon.
And then,
Not
as
necessary.
then as it comes in and finalized or whatever, your hours of operation for the 3 different businesses?
Yeah, so hours of operation,
I mean, ballpark right now.
The hours of-
kinda-
The hours of operation for the cannabis store will be 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and the other 2 stores has not been determined yet because we don't have those leased out
Okay.
to operators at this current
Well,
time.
the coffee shop's gonna be 6 a.m. to whatever.
yeah, and the
Yes.
pizza will probably be a little bit of the
little later,
opposite, from a
10.
11, 12 to
Right,
a,
right,
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Looks great, I mean, like I say.
Board?
I have just 2 questions. Is the pizza and coffee shop going to be 100% standalone, have nothing to do with cannabis?
No access?
Yes, that's my
That's correct.
Okay.
understanding. That you will own the entire building. These will be tenants.
Yes.
We'd like to think a coffee shop and a restaurant. We don't have a specific coffee shop or
Okay. I
specific.
didn't know if it was going to be like a pizza pot shop and a coffee pot shop, but...
No, not our intention.
Okay.
Not our intention.
And then,
Butter for
did you consider a one-way in, one-way out with access in the site instead of 2 access and exit points?
Yeah, and so, you know, depending on if people are moving eastbound or westbound, we have multi-way traffic coming in and out. I don't love, as a designer, this type of layout unless it's, you know, employee only. So we want to have the flexibility, especially for handicap accessibility, where people can have, this is more of a conventional 60 feet, right? The 18-foot spaces, the 24-foot. So very conventional in front. We thought of moving the building to have it, you know, perpendicular with, to have more visibility, but in terms of the grading, it worked best. So the only one way we have is through that driveway in the back. Just feel as though it worked best and more conventional.
Yeah, I'm thinking more coming off of 16, because it's a busy road, fast road. Is it possible to have cars only entering the whole plaza from, say, the Webster side and exiting, say, the Douglas side?
Right. It's a thought.
Would,
Let's say the traffic man.
Well, it's certainly not a safer condition. We
We didn't want to focus the traffic at 2 spots, and
for a development like this, and the spacing between the driveways, we really didn't think it was appropriate to do one-way circulation, especially with the drive-through component when you do that, so.
So the concern is this.
Right turning people will use this driveway to exit, left turning will use the other driveway to exit, so that's a better efficiency, so instead of having a single lane exit driveway. And they're over 250 feet apart from each other, not conflicting. So it just distributes the traffic, doesn't focus it, and it makes it more efficient.
Okay.
Site distances aren't an issue. It's all vegetated in front now. That'll be cleared out, and you'll be able to see the site and the access driveways.
Yeah, I'm not looking for you to do it, I'm just looking to see if it was thought of. if
Yeah,
it was
as
considered.
Joe said, we looked at a number of iterations on the layout of both the building, parking, and access.
Yep.
On your drive-through,
Yeah.
it's around the back, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the drive-through
Now,
special permit.
Is it a drive-through for the coffee shop? Or
No.
dispensary, or both?
It is only a drive-through for the dispensary.
Just strictly for the
Yes, yes. We're here tonight. If there were to be an additional drive-through for the coffee shop, it would require us to come back. It doesn't work well with the circulation in the building, right? Always the drive-through, we try to route the cars around the building, and then they're facing out, so people got the coffee in their hand, their money, their phone, they're not paying attention. We want them facing,
They already been to the one down the street and,
so while there's no menu board here, like say
That's correct. Like a
say
Starbucks.
a Dunkin' Donuts or so forth and so on, so we do have 10 cars from the point of sale, from the window. We anticipate, as the other shops, people order online, they want to come and pick up, and so they're here and going through, and that'll give us at least 10, and still allow people to pass and repass, and then there's always that out lane, whether it's a fire or someone just doesn't want to be in line anymore.
So you can't order at the window?
There is no, for the dispensary, no, there is,
So you get in line to pick it up if you order online, but there's no way to actually order?
that's correct.
You have to order, okay.
Yes, correct. So,
No fries with that.
Right. Okay, so you have to order it somewhere else and then just pick it up?
yeah, so we have a variety of applications. Some people want to get on, say, and then they're called in from the parking lot. Some people are just walk-ins. Some people that have the same order over and over, or just whether they order it and then just come and pick it up. Very similar as it is medicinal, just like a pharmacy. There's no drive-through at a pharmacy. You're just there to pick up.
So you'll have walk-ins also?
Yes, yes.
So you'll have a storefront there also?
Yes. We'll have, so a whole storefront for this, and then that is the window of the drive-through, and then just programmatically in terms of the dispensary, when you have the 2,800, and so, yeah, we'll be able to accommodate walk-ins.
On the end of the land, so you have access across Old Douglas Road though, right?
We do.
You can go across it, yeah. That's-
Yes. Problem is, we were trying to abandon it, and we can with the municipality. My understanding was it's a defunct, I think it's a railroad organization that's no longer available for us to actually petition.
Yeah.
So while we do have, say, access, technically, we
It's
don't.
still there.
We don't own it. We can't get title to it. So we had discussed with the community that, you will see us in subsequent months for a phase 2 for possible cultivation on the rear base.
Oh, yeah.
Farm to table. Perfect.
Well, it is the architect's vision, that it is, as you see in a restaurant where you see chefs preparing your meal, you will see in some of these a small portion of the cultivation, the manufacturing, and the retail, not interacting, but be able to see each other. very similar.
So you leaving enough access in the front lot to drive, to get to the back?
Yeah, so when we have the back built out, when you see the septic system,
Yeah.
that would be the road that we would be able to come through to the rear.
Okay.
So, you know, when the septic is laid out, see a few more clicks, so we'll be able to
Right.
maintain the septic, but then we'll always be able to come back through, should that.
And you'll be keeping that wide enough to appease the fire department and everything
Yeah.
going back?
Yeah, we've met with the chief a couple times at our meetings. Absolutely. He asked for the cistern in that location. Ultimately, we've really gotten, I can say, granular with some of the processes we do and some of the materials we do, and I think he has a pretty deep understanding. And yeah, this will be as wide as he needs, and, you know, the crushed stone seemed fine for the fire department.
And then on that, if you could, Brenda, keep on that front, you know, future access road to rear lot.
Sure.
So that it's known that down the road, that was the main intent.
Yeah.
A lot of the intent for that, so at least it's on the
But
front.
there's, where's the wetlands on the other land? It's at the end of the other.
Yeah.
It is. And the cultivation will have a little bit different set of regulations
Oh, yeah.
through the Commonwealth than if we were doing buildings and details. So while it looks cumbersome from here, from a site standpoint, you know, cultivation, they
You do high tunnels and all that stuff, yeah.
You will be meeting with the highway department, DPW, to get permits for the driveways.
Yeah.
There is a swale there now that controls a lot of the water on that slight incline, and it's,
Right in,
you probably need pipes under the driveways for sure.
Yeah, sure. We were fortunate enough, we've already, the health agent, DPW, police, fire,
Good.
we're all here.
Thank you.
In the back.
I mean, I'm saying, it looks good. The only thing
Yeah.
that scares me is the turning lane. Somebody stopping the turn, getting plowed on.
We might need to consider a peer review for traffic.
Yeah, on that aspect of it, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
What was the sight line on that? Well, the whole
not so
thing
much-
should be
It's
peer
not so much
reviewed.
the sight line, it's the idea of stopping, take
It's
that
almost,
left.
because when you're going west, you're almost like cresting over a
Yeah,
hill.
there is a
And
little
cars aren't used
bit of a
to
blind spot
a building
there.
being there, and there's a potential for being hauling, and going pretty quick, and then boom, there's a car waiting to turn in.
And we all know the sun will lay right there.
That's right.
When you're heading out that Route
Like
16.
going down west.
You ain't kidding. So when you come up there, you're blind. And I'm telling you, you're gonna have bad karma there, I think, if you don't have a turning lane. Where
Couple-
vehicles can get around.
Or at least maybe some signage to say,
Yeah, so a
Ahead of
couple of
time.
the elements we've tried is, again, the multiple entrances, as we've talked about, to keep people, to get them in the facility, but also part of it was the signage, so that people can recognize and see that there's,
It's what Jake had said about one way in, one way out. That may simplify possibly the understanding and perception of people, you know, someone's coming out, someone's coming in, and, you know, on the same roadway. And you do have around the back one way, and where you have your drive-through, they're already going one way to go out that way. So you're set up perfectly for a one-way out, and then one way in on the west side towards Webster. Just again, a thought to what Jake was sort
Yeah,
of saying.
it's a thought of mine too, because if a car's coming westbound, and say cars are only turning into the plaza from
This is it, yeah.
the westbound point of entry, the cars cresting over the hill will have a more sight line to a potential car sitting, waiting to turn in, versus closer to Douglas, where they'll come cresting over the hill, and the car will be sitting closer
Yeah.
to a lack of sight distance.
Again,
It's something to consider.
so when you look at the multiple entrances, you would then, though, take those cars out of the queue.
out of the equation.
That's right.
You wouldn't have to consider.
So with one entrance, you'll have that situation more often that a car is waiting to come in.
No, not necessarily. You're saying that you're doubling up the use
You
of
have
one.
one place. Because now your entrance or your exit has to give a left turn, you know, an eastbound and a westbound turn.
Because I'm just thinking the Hannaford Plaza in Uxbridge on 122. It's kind of confusing getting in and out. Cars don't really know which way they can go out, which way they can go in. It's worth considering. I might,
Because some people don't stay to the right that are coming out.
That's right.
And they're in the middle, and then somebody coming down trying to get in. There have been collisions over at that place, so the Bank of America's closed now over there, but it's going to help a little bit, but people are in and out and in and out. It's just, again, a thought for the traffic people, so.
This is almost exactly like Hannaford's, right? You have,
Well, the strip,
Smaller plaza, smaller,
yeah, but you got in and out
yeah.
on one turn and in and out on the other turn.
yeah,
It's
one
kind of the
is on
same
either end
thing.
of it, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
By the
board,
way,
any-
is this
Yeah.
the old windmill site from years ago? Remember the windmill?
No, it was, yeah,
It's
it
the
was
same general area.
General area, but
it was
not-
in the backland.
It's right next door to the
Yeah, I think those are,
the town line, and then there's an access to a
Right.
like Verizon building in the
other
back.
windmills.
Yeah, by Blueberry Hill.
Because I think right now, all the
And then isn't
property
this
on Webster's
something
been clear
to-
cut.
You got that?
Or was
It's
clear.
either Verizon or Charter, or
Right,
like
I
a
think they use
communication.
Verizon, and I
Toll,
believe those are the windmills. I know we had discussed it at the TRC with the,
Many hours that we'll never get back in our lives. Yeah, till like 11 o'clock at night, yeah. Not good.
No, I mean, I like the idea that the biggest thing that scares me though is the traffic right there. We know there's been fatalities up that way,
Yeah,
more than
Otherwise,
one,
great plan, though, you know.
but
Okay.
otherwise.
all right.
Good spot, good area, good plan, good building.
Okay, board, anything else?
Does our planner have any comment?
I don't. I think the only thing I would say is that the board has jurisdiction only over the drive-through and site plan review. Everything else is a different board. They've already gotten, they've gotten their special permit for retail
Right.
from CBA, so just
We're gonna want
focus on
a
those
traffic
issues.
study or something done in that aspect to take a look at that.
They're far enough away, those.
I don't have a problem with the way it is now.
Yeah, I don't either really, one way or the other, whether it's one way out, one way in.
About a turnout lane.
I don't, no. I think some signage, just to let you know.
They've submitted the
mean,
traffic study,
it's-
their traffic
Yeah.
study.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I haven't had it
we
in a
could
while.
have, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I think
it's
we're-
pretty involved. So as far as part of the peer review, I think that we should put it out for the entirety
Okay. Oh,
of
that
site
would
plan approval, because traffic is part of that, so. And I'll move on to the audience. Listen, okay. I see someone one person right here standing. Name and address, please.
Bob and Eric, 107 Cedar Street, Economic Development. We've had 2 tech review meetings with Flying Goose. The issue was discussed at both meetings on the one way in, one way out. The police chief had no problem with this design. We kind of looked at the mobile station further down the road as the same one-way, they don't have one way in, one way out, they have both. So
Yeah.
there were no issues concern arose with the police chief. We even thought about signage further down the road to warn people that there's a store coming up, watch for stop traffic. That's state land. Ernie, I don't know if we can put a sign on state
That's the
land.
kind of signage I was talking about.
Yeah. Should still be within the town easement.
Right, yeah.
Stop traffic
Oh, yeah.
ahead of something
Yeah.
is warning
Stop
that
traffic,
there
but,
is a new facility.
We shouldn't have any stop traffic on the road, but I was just,
We can add, there's MUTC warning signs that can be placed intersection ahead, that, you know, you can put a name plaque on it. So it is a regulatory sign that we would just have to have permitted.
Cars turning.
I'm sorry, name and address, sir, again, just for the
Paul
minute taker.
Bannon, Bannon with Beta Group.
Thank you. Just because everybody's talking and sounding the
Yeah,
same,
we-
so our minute taker is new.
but that's the kind of signage I was talking about.
And those are common signs, so
Is it?
people are aware,
I don't know.
okay, something's.
We'll talk
Most
about
people don't pay
that.
attention to them anyway, but they're out there.
Big yellow signs.
No, 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 I know, I know.
I didn't do that.
Okay, Bob, you're all set?
I'm all set.
Okay,
you.
all right.
Thanks, Bob.
This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments on this agenda item? Nope. I don't see anything. I think we should do a formal vote for the peer review, same as the last one, so we can get things rolling.
I don't care about it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion made by Ernie,
Second.
second by Jake. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Why is it?
Delineate exactly what you want.
The entirety. Yeah,
The
site
entire
plan,
site plan
yeah,
review.
site plan review. That's
general review.
what,
Okay.
it's typically pretty involved
Okay.
for these types of projects. And then the stormwater management too. So that's included.
That all goes under.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Next meeting, August 26th.
Yep.
Good?
You think the peer review will be done by then?
Hopefully. I think the package is pretty complete.
Yeah.
I don't think that, so what we would do is pass that along. We would get the timeline and the amount, and then we'll let you know. And then usually authorize to proceed. And hopefully we can have our responses back maybe a week before our next meeting.
Yeah, because we too would like to respond.
Yeah, the 19th.
For review of the peer
If we
review.
could specify that. I think this one's the farthest along as far as using like the two.
One of the best,
Drive up.
it's one of the better presentations and packages we've received in
Yeah.
a
No
long time.
waivers,
No
no
waivers?
variances. No
Okay.
waivers,
Right.
no variances, just 2 special permits for the
Okay.
use and
Just
for the
making
drive.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope, you're good enough going on.
Yeah, so site, there's just like one, there's just one special permit for use from us. And then
Yes.
site plan approval is not a special permit.
No, I need from the zoning
Yeah,
board.
but you got that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So what do we need to continue the public hearing for
Yeah.
Flying Goose LLC to August 26th at
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
We have the Hawk.
Right.
Super Sound.
8 o'clock.
Motion
I'll
made.
second that.
Second by Ernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Look at that.
Yeah, well, the week before.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda, an A&R plan, Orbson Corp., possible votes, 56 U Street, 835. I hope you don't have a spelling error on that one.
That was last time.
Oh, okay. Okay, if you wanna, if you don't have your stand anymore, you can use a chair. And Eva, if you want to just tell us a little background on this one?
So this came in as an A&R. Initially, the building inspector and I looked at it and did not think that it met the requirements for an A&R because it does not have significant frontage. I talked to the engineer and ultimately asked town council for a ruling, and the town council's ruling was that as long as it meets the 7 criteria under section 4.3 for lot frontage reduction, I think it's called, that you can proceed as an A&R. It's a Douglas specific kind of
Yeah.
way of doing things. The only thing that I saw with regard to the 7 criteria is there was no circle to show that there was.
Which we've added for tonight's meeting.
Right, and I mean, I used a scale. It's a pretty huge lot, so I'm not really concerned, but I just didn't see it there. Other than that, it met those requirements as I could tell.
Can I just borrow that for 1 second? Because we, I know the plan, because we don't have the revised one. So you made a little
He has it.
revision? Oh,
I got 8.
Got 8, got 8.
Too many.
You can sign twice.
yeah. Could we see the revised plan?
Absolutely.
Closer?
The one on the easel is revised.
This is not
These are
revised.
not, no, I just got these the other day.
And again, we just simply added the 2 circles to show the diameter. Each of the 2 lots are 12 and 13 acres apiece. It's a 25-acre piece of property. We were before the board, I think, 6 months ago, 6 or 8 months ago, about a year ago, with a 9-lot subdivision. And it's just the timing and the market and the applicant's wishes is to just to have 2 large lots as opposed to 9 lots and a roadway.
You still have including
two
spelled
Hawthornes.
wrong.
Dreams lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's in Nillilacuti.
Which one is that?
Not including on lot 1 below that. It's like,
That's a,
In Lacooting.
if you were getting a tattoo, it'd be regrets.
and then
You know what I'm talking about?
required reduced frontage.
You know what I'm talking
is
about? The commercial,
twice
the guy
the
regrets.
size or 1.5?
It's twice the size, but
Well, the other one was 1.5.
that is,
35.
that's a residential
Yeah, that's the
compound.
good,
and this is
this
a-
is really what we're looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Two
yeah.
different
Okay,
bylaws.
all right, good.
So how
Yeah.
many copies do we have? And a Mylar?
We get a Mylar and 2 copies.
Okay,
I got no
board,
problem with this.
I'll entertain a motion to endorse.
Everything's crossed and dotted and...
Not
Got all
really.
the abutters on here?
Spelling error.
We do have the abutters on there.
Okay.
There
For
you
the
go. You
spelling,
can
you're
have
gonna,
that.
Yeah, the spelling's
So,
off.
do you-
Send them
you-
back.
well, it's gonna get recorded with misspelling. Do you wanna fix it and have them sign it another time?
It's up to you, it's up to Dan.
It doesn't,
He doesn't mind.
I think it's mine.
He's fine. It's
If you
fine.
don't mind, it doesn't matter, but that's what's gonna be recorded for all.
Yeah,
Would that-
yeah, that's
See, it
okay.
works.
It's a typo,
It's a
not a.
typo in one of the
yeah.
words.
So we need a motion to endorse the
Yep.
A&R plan for Orbison Group
Reduce frontage
on
lot.
reduced frontage on 56 U Street.
2 reduced frontage lots. Yep.
Second.
2 lots.
Motion by Mike C,
Second.
second by Mike.
We're all
No,
fighting.
only one of them is
G.
is
They're
frontage.
each lot 1, so how...
Well,
Huh?
no, the other one.
Both of them are.
Oh, they both are reduced,
Lot
oh, they're
one,
both
lot
are reduced
one.
frontage.
Yes, this is
the,
historical. We don't typically do this.
Right, but otherwise you're getting 9.
Yeah.
Good.
What's the Mylar?
Right?
That's the lot 1 and lot 1 also?
We will edit that before we bring it to the registry.
Oh, my God, no, I didn't see that.
What?
Oh, lot
Both of them are lot
now
one.
Two lot ones.
Is that on the Mylar,
no.
lot 1 and lot 1? But he said he'll fix it before it goes to
Yeah.
the registry of deeds.
Right, so you
I'm
can't,
gonna...
so you can't sign the
motion
Mylar.
stands as
Right.
long as it's...
Just get some, just
Why'd
go
you do
get
it
some
for-
white out.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah, so we'll, sign it.
$100.
We'll endorse, we voted to endorse it, and then once it's with that condition.
Can you
So we're
bring-
not gonna sign it until it's,
Until
you can
it's
get a whiteout. Just to find some whiteout
Do you
around
have-
So
here.
wouldn't-
I couldn't find a Sharpie. Does anyone have a Sharpie here? I looked.
Oh, that's a good idea. No, you can use a
Where's our
pen.
box of
You can use
pens?
a regular pen? Yeah,
No.
yeah, he can.
There was one
On the Mylar, I'm saying.
right here.
Be that
Yeah, but where's our
They
box?
come back tomorrow to the,
Where are our stamps?
Yeah, that's,
They're in the
Box is
office.
here.
You
We
got a
don't
piece of the
we
office.
don't have our,
sign it.
we don't
It
have our.
disappeared with
Alright.
Bill Condiff.
You need a stamp?
could they just bring it
In our
back to the town
magic
hall,
marker
fix it, do a
to,
new one? And we, in spirit,
sign
we
the
know, we
Mylar.
sign it here?
I know, you need it.
I mean, we don't have to have another meeting for it, just
Oh, we
get
have
it
a little
done right.
brown box.
No, we don't have,
Where?
we need,
I don't know where.
I can come back in and sign it.
Me too, I mean, I just rather you
Yeah, I-
have
I
it
would
right,
do it.
you know,
Absolutely.
I think.
Yep.
And
All right, so then you don't sign, you won't sign it tonight?
right overnight, I mean, they can fix this thing
Yeah.
tomorrow, I know tomorrow's Friday, but, you know, we can
We'll have
come
it
back
back,
on
yeah.
Monday morning or
The
something.
planning office is, the community
Monday.
development office is closed on
Closed on
Friday, so
Friday.
come
We know that.
Monday.
Monday.
Talk to Jen and she'll have you sign them all
Perfect.
separately.
Are you okay for a couple days? Let's get it
Jen,
right.
if we could locate the box with all of our stamps.
So who's going to sign?
It's a
all
brown
of us,
All of
box.
us.
all of
We
us.
all have to show up for that?
Yeah.
At least 5.
Can
At
you
least
come on
5 people,
Monday?
at least
Five.
5 people
Are
have
you
to show
around?
up.
I have a
Are you
question.
around?
Yeah,
If you've ever
but,
done
know.
this before, don't know, and again,
Five of
I'm
us
not an
have to show up.
attorney.
no, you
I
don't have to
think
go
you
look right
can-
now. Don't worry about it.
I think you can vote to have,
No, we can vote, we just don't
no,
sign
I
it
think you
until.
can.
Oh, have the chair?
Yeah,
We go with.
Yeah, we
What?
can,
We
we
can
can
vote to have
vote.
one person
okay.
vote.
Oh, that's fine. I was just saying you can if you wanted to.
Yeah, we can vote, we just can't, there's nothing to sign tonight, that's all.
Unless you wanted to sign yourself. Okay, so you can vote, he'll fix it.
Right.
and
Just need
you'll-
5 anyway,
You'll
so.
talk to Jen and she'll sign.
Yeah,
You'll
so
come
once
and
it gets to
sign
5, they'll release it.
Yeah.
Jen will
I
release
have
it.
a motion on the floor.
So, motion's been made, motion's been seconded. Dan's got
Yeah.
name and address.
Dan Heaney, 44 Shady Lane. Is it possible that 4 out of 5 could sign tonight?
It's wrong.
Real
I understand that, it can't be released until you have the 5th signature.
No.
But it's
No, no,
still
the
typed
the
wrong.
plan is wrong.
We're gonna have.
It's wrong lots.
We're gonna have lot 2.
It says 2 lot
Both
1s.
lots say lot 1.
And lot 1 instead of lot 1
The
and lot
issue
2.
isn't that they couldn't sign tonight, it's that he has to make the changes on the
That's what we're
Mylar.
doing.
Okay,
I'm reading it. You can't have lot 1.
we're so close. We're so
Smarter than a
close.
5th grader.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank
So
you.
we'll get it done on Monday.
Oh,
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Monday we'll sign it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Then you'll-
Thank you.
Who's going to be in
Okay.
the office Monday?
Request for release of covenant, Bella
They'll be in the
Woods
office.
202 and 2.
Jennifer.
Okay, let's buzz through this,
She's full
guys.
Okay, listen up.
8:42, let's buzz through this, all right? come on, let's focus, laser focus.
What are we doing?
Number 1, additional business. Request for release of covenant Bella Woods 202 and 206 Maple Street.
Yep.
Possible votes. So you have in your packet.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone
Yeah,
needs
packet.
to have any background refreshing on this.
I remember this one.
Is anyone here for
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to just,
I'm John Cosmo, I'm the owner.
okay. And you just want to tell us a little bit about it? What you did?
I'm here to release the covenant from that Bella Drive
Yep.
property. I have the bond there, and hopefully all the paperwork is.
Can you speak up a little, just a little?
Speak up a little bit.
Speak up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to get this done for about 2 months, get the bond, but difficulty with the town. No one around really knew how to go about doing it. They told me there was no bond form. Then they gave me an outdated bond form, filled it all out, and come to find out there was an updated bond form that I had to fill out again. So it's been a long process, and I think everything is there. I have the tax verification forms, and I'd just like to get that covenant released. So I'd like to release the covenant for that, those 3 lots.
So we're releasing the no-build covenant in lieu of posting, the bond is posted. So I'll entertain a motion to do that.
I got one. You said 3 lots? Here it says 202 and 206. Is there another? Is it just 202 and 206?
I think those two address, those are the 2 addresses.
My address, 202.
Okay,
That has nothing to do with the covenant.
okay, all right.
There's 3 lots there.
So I would need a motion to release and then accept the bond, and town council did review this and approve it.
Good.
I'll
Hey,
make a-
council, we're all set.
So moved?
Motion's made by Mike Z, seconded by Jake. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll sign that tonight.
Okay, and when I pick up the release, see Maria on Wednesday.
Or Jennifer.
Could I
Jennifer's working on.
We have
on Monday?
Well, she's new, so she might not have,
Yeah, I would wait till Wednesday, and Maria will be in, so that we make sure that you get everything you need. And I know what I'm giving you to.
And it needs to be recorded
Yeah, it
also.
also has to be recorded,
yeah,
so.
so it'll take a couple days.
I will have it notarized. You'll get it notarized?
We get it notarized.
Yeah.
You were,
It's getting notarized with our signatures.
right.
You'll notarize it.
Yes,
Who will record it?
you will record
Go
it.
to the registry.
Come in Wednesday.
What she said,
Maria's in
say about waiting until Wednesday, apply to
Take it with
sign, getting this signed. I know, but
Yeah.
we have to get this one
Like I
signed.
said, Maria's
before
only
the
here
thing.
one of the days.
I'm gonna-
A&R.
Bringing a new girl to be,
So
We have
it's
to
just
sign
like
it.
everybody else. That's how, that's just how the old event.
Well, you got through this hurdle here.
Can't come in tomorrow.
If you say you're gonna sign it tonight, and
Well,
the notary's not here.
we always say it's fine
I
tonight.
know, I'm just,
Hold on.
no one
You got-
cares, I'm,
Yes.
just in case someone
Tracy.
does.
Yeah,
Yes.
one other thing.
Yes. What
Yeah,
else?
I was wondering if I could get an extension on the definitive plan for Bella Drive.
It needs to be on the agenda, and it needs to be in writing. So when you go see Maria,
All right.
you need to request, is it expired?
The date when you signed it, September 25th, 2018, I believe it's 3 years.
There's a tolling period also, so you would add on any time for the state emergency onto the back end. So
COVID.
you'll be fine for August, so you need to be on the agenda and request the extension in writing.
All right.
So I'm on letterhead or something, sign it and request it.
So that I can get on the agenda and present that.
Yeah, the August
Right.
20.
August 26th is our next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, plenty of time to get on, just write up a letter asking for an extension, and
yeah.
And bring that in with you
bring it in
for
with you, and
Wednesday. and
we
stuff.
can accept that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, thanks.
Okay. Whiten Reservoir Estates request for release of lots 4, 6, and 7. Possible votes. Hi, Bob. Name and address, please. You're still on mute.
Okay,
Thank you.
how's that?
Good.
Good.
Okay, I hope you can hear me better than I can hear you. I'm having a problem hearing this meeting, but I'm sure you won't hear from me, so.
Yep.
There's three things I'd like to try to accomplish this evening. One is, back on April 22nd, the board released lots 4, 5, and 7. There seems to be some confusion over that. And when I applied for the permits, Ken Frazier said he was confused. He really wanted to hear from the board. Maria dug out the minutes, and I realized that was the last time there were any minutes. And it's on the bottom of the first page on the minutes of April 22nd. So I'm hoping that we can at least clear that up. And these have already been released. That's the first thing. And if so, could somebody just send Ken an email?
Bob, let's back up a little bit, because what was released was foundation-only permits for lots 4, 6, and 7, which I re-sent back to Les Stevens, sent an email right after this meeting, and to all of us, and he said they were foundation-only permits, and that was what was released at this point, so that is correct.
Okay, so that being the case, I did request the permits as well, and I'm hopeful to get those this evening. I'm sure you want to hear a status report, and I'm happy to do that now.
Yes.
Okay, I sent you, or I sent Maria, status report with some photographs. You had me read it the last time. I don't mind doing it. It's more of the same.
I think
That's what you like.
Yeah, Bob, if I could just interject for a second. I think the last meeting we had, we requested for the engineer to provide us the status report.
I'm sorry, Tracy, could you just say that again?
That we requested the engineer to provide the status report. Board, do we recall
Yeah?
what was the request was?
I thought it was the same one.
The pictures are nice, we need an outside person to be reviewing everything for progress.
That's the way it's always set up.
And that's what the decisions has in it, the conditions of the decision.
Okay, again, I'm having a problem, okay, and I don't think it's you, okay? Because it's everybody here, so it's gotta be my computer. Did you just say that you want to hear a status report, an update, or not?
From the engineer.
From the engineer.
From the engineer.
From the engineer. That's the way it's written in the decision. That's how it's supposed to be done. He's supposed to be, and he's done it before. So, and that's what we want. That's the way it's been. That's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, I think we let it slide the last time because of the transition of the engineering firm, and he could not get anybody out there, but it's been a couple months.
Broke his arm or his leg or something.
Yeah, Jude did, but
Skiing,
he's
right.
back in action.
Right, he's back in action, and that's what we want, an engineering report.
Okay, the engineering report's just stating the status of the site.
Whatever's required in the decision.
Right, whatever the decision says.
No, I'm not, I'm asking, that's what you want. Basically a letter,
I don't-
standing on the site.
Well, last time he was on Zoom, one time. He was on Zoom
No, I
just
was-
like you are.
Yeah, no, I was there the last time with
Yeah,
my wife.
so-
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't be the one giving us the status reports. We need the engineers to give
But
us.
that's what I had to do the last time, that's why I thought it was this time as well.
Right.
No, I didn't say, I said
I don't mind
that.
doing it,
Right,
okay?
so that's what we're gonna do.
No, from your engineer.
It has to be from the engineer,
That's
Bob.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right.
That was Jude, okay?
Yes.
I'll basically have Jude write that letter, okay, and,
Well, he has to be doing
Normally, no, normally
inspections.
he's on Zoom or he's here, so if we have any questions, we can ask him. That's how it's done.
So in their
fine.
decision, they have required inspection
no,
reports to provide to the
I'm
board
sorry I
in
was
waiting,
confused.
so
No,
that
that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
paper trail.
It's the delay's on your end, not
Because
us.
there's people living in this subdivision.
okay. But could somebody at least write,
occupancy
so I can continue
And we've
what we talked
issued
about?
in the past.
Ken or myself an email
Right, then we don't get
stating
it.
that the foundation permits can come,
At the next meeting, Jude's going to be here anyway. You need him to.
can be issued, so I can continue to stabilize the site.
Right, but we already,
You already know, he
why?
he can read the minutes, he knows it's for the foundation only.
Okay, respectfully, I had this conversation with him, he just said, I'd like to hear from the planning board.
But we,
So,
I re-forwarded the email, I think today, of what Les said, and he
Les already
highlighted
said it
every,
once,
yes.
so why is it
That's all I'm
cannot?
asking for.
Okay.
yeah.
That's all I'm asking for. The other thing we talked about when I was there, you may or may not recall, I know you hear a lot of these, was the replacement of a cash bond with with a substitute bond. I brought the bond down to Maria. What you instructed me to do, what the board instructed me to do, was to contact the gentleman, I don't remember his name, it started with an A, and I sent him the specimen bond. And he's no longer on the planning board or working for the town or whatever.
Ian.
Ian, thank
Yes,
you.
Ian.
Okay.
Yes.
So that kind of went into the abyss. Is there another contact that I can deal with this bond issue?
Jennifer?
Yeah, I think we send it to her.
So be on Wednesday?
Maria, you could send it to Maria.
She's already got it.
Okay, she needs to send it to the appropriate person.
Okay, so
Typically, town council will review it and approve it.
Right.
she sent me a whole, I think it's called a Form H.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does that have to be submitted with the bond? And it appears that there's, 4 or 5 people that need to sign that. I'm happy to go through the protocol. I just don't know what the protocol is.
We don't do protocol, that's up to the office in the town hall. So when you get hold of Maria on Wednesday, or if you come down, she should be able to walk you through it. And then go from there. And I don't know what's required or not required, but
Yes, it is the Form H, surety agreement for a bond. So it's a lot of pages. So you have that, so there's 11 pages that need to be filled out, needs to be signed by the surety company. You need to provide your bond, copy of your bond, and I believe there is another form that exchanges the type of surety.
And then it goes to town council.
And then it goes to town council.
So, just give me 1 second. Jen Galvitz, who once I realized that this was, more legal than I was prepared for. I tried to contact her to meet us at this meeting tonight, and she wrote up, Bob, I'm in transit, had a crisis, had to go out to Amherst this afternoon. Any form needs to be approved by the town council. If you request a bond release at the meeting this evening, see if they, meaning the board, could vote on the release pending town council approval of the release form.
No.
I'm just reading what she read.
No, because
No.
we have no bond before us. You
No.
have to get all the paperwork done first.
First. It's the only way it's done.
Okay.
Okay?
Do the paperwork and then get an engineer to give us a status report.
He's exchanging the cash bond for,
Yeah, but I mean, this
oh,
is
you're-
all, I mean,
yeah.
it's a rolling ball right now.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
another ball rolling behind the ball.
Okay.
There's two things that have to be done. We need an update, a status report, and we need all the paperwork for the bond before we can even consider
right,
signing.
so Bob, you following? Yeah, Maria should be reaching out to you with the requirements of what you need to do.
Who is, I'm sorry.
Maria.
Maria,
You sent her the request.
Go down and see her on Wednesday.
Okay.
that's your
I
best
don't know
bet.
why, but all of a sudden they can give you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's always good.
So if you could kindly just send Ken a
She already did, yeah.
It was done.
So, can you hear us okay? No. One moment, Bob. Can you hear us okay?
one more time?
Can you hear me?
You're gonna talk more into this.
Oh, into that?
He's more on that.
Oh,
versus
okay.
this.
So your request is for building permits for lot 4, 6, and 7.
Correct.
Okay, the board did not vote and we did not authorize those. We authorized foundation-only permits.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, and I did send Ken and Maria both the forwarded email that they already received, whenever the minutes were,
Right.
a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it's already been explained, clarified. So if you're looking for building permits,
You're not going to get those.
the board needs to have the status update. I don't know, because we don't want people to live out there, you know, when we initially had this approved with occupancy permits with the road not completed and unsafe.
Sidewalks.
So,
Just wonder if he went in and just wanted permits in general, and he said no to the permits, but if he said foundation permits, Ken was authorized to issue those for 4, 6, and 7.
Yeah, we
they
did-
already got it authorized, I'm pretty sure, right?
No.
No?
No,
Right, what did he-
no,
Okay.
You have no foundation permits, you're saying?
no, sir.
Okay,
Okay, so.
Not building, foundation.
yeah.
I asked for building.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
he did.
I remember saying it, okay? Okay, I said, no wood, foundation, backfill, done, okay? Come back with a status report,
Right,
okay?
right.
And ask you for the release of the rest of the lots.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I remember it distinctly.
Okay, okay. So, our next meeting is August 26th. So if you're gonna be looking for building permits, we need everything in order. And then I would
Can we
request,
continue this?
oh yeah, you're on additional business. You just have to be
Okay.
requesting to get on the agenda.
Okay, so if this is, if I have the bond all issued at the same time, is that just is that just a signature at that point?
Yeah,
If everything's done,
approval from town council, then our
a
signatures,
vote,
yes.
a vote.
Okay.
Yeah, a vote and a
I
signature.
may or may
What about
not
the
be
report from the
at that
engineer?
meeting, but I'll certainly have
The report from the
someone,
engineer.
okay, I already know I'm going to the West Coast, okay, on the 26th. I just don't know what time I'll probably be in a plane.
Okay, we'll require someone to be here, representative,
Yes,
from your team.
The engineer to
Yeah,
actually give the report.
and the
Yeah, the report.
engineer.
Yeah, the engineer's report, and the engineer to be here, right. Or and so forth.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay,
Thank you.
next item, Economic Development Commission proposed amendment to zoning bylaws Appendix A, possible votes. Come on down.
You got one chance?
No, we just.
We just pull up the chairs around.
We're sitting.
Slide down.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're gonna say.
In your packet, we have a double-sided amended Appendix A. And Bob, do you want to take it away?
Sure, Appendix A, there's been some interest in restaurants in the village residential area, and if you notice, there's the only zoning district where a restaurant is not allowed, other than state forest, is VR. So we're just trying to get restaurants in town for business by going with a special permit in the VR district.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It's allowed by right in BB, commercial, and industrial, and RC1, RC2 by special permit from the zoning board. So we were just gonna make VR, so you get 3 special permits, 3 by right.
So you know what I'm gonna say?
Say what you're gonna say.
You gotta come here, so why not PB? So you've gotta come here for site plan approval.
That whole page,
Are we proposing to change that whole thing
at some point
at the
in
town
time,
meeting?
do we want to do that? Do you want to? That's going to be a
Because it has to be
discussion
updated.
someday. Yeah.
And I
we
know
have to
it was
update
mentioned.
these things at some point in time. And even at the last selectmen meeting, it was brought up that these zoning board bylaws need to be updated every 5 years.
Right, we've sort of been picking at them, we've been trying to.
Right.
And at times, that might be, I know what you're saying about changing the whole thing. But right now, I think at least we're trying to pick at it and get some of this
For
updated.
uniformity, we just kept this whole page is BA. And that's why we kept it BA. And at some point, if you go to planning board, it's ultimately your call, because you're sending this proposal to the selectmen to be included on the November warrant.
Keep it PB,
I don't think we'd have a problem with BB rates.
you know?
You know, I don't know why it's BA on the others, quite frankly, but I think it never got updated when we did the new zoning. I would say a few years ago, but I think it's more than a few years.
Yeah.
2012, was it?
Yeah.
I think it
I don't
was.
think it might have even been sooner than that, but and you can see that we're looking to be able to allow them, it's either, you know, through the ZBA or the planning board. And again, it's like by special permit, so it gives you, you know, control if you don't think it's a suitable place for it.
Yeah, I mean,
The special permit, your concern is zoning board or planning board?
yeah, in our site plan approval, we have the same thresholds that they're going to be judged on from ZBA. So as far as the use special permit, it's almost reads exactly the same as our site plan approval.
Right. I mean, I have no problem with it, but I think make it PB.
PB. Do you want to change the others to PB?
Yeah.
You're on this line item, number, commercial, 8
We're
restaurant.
planning to do it anyways, or hoping to do it anyways, so it makes sense.
If it's gonna be, right, if it's gonna be happening, to allow it to keep uniformity, I would think it would make sense, you know? And even-
You have to change later on.
But even on the Ys by right, in reality, it'd be nice to see them come in front of the planning board.
They're gonna have to anyway for
Right,
site
I
plan
mean, it's by-
approval.
They have it by right,
Site plan review.
but you can remove the Ys and make it PB.
Why makes it feel welcoming?
Okay.
I agree.
So
There's
leave-
less
leave
of a
those the Y,
risk.
even though they need to come in front of the planning board, but the other ones let it be known. You have to come in front of the planning board, or you wanna make them all, make it a Y?
On the VR, I wouldn't put a Y.
Because then they're gonna just pop up
Because
anyway.
there's also.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of putting a Y for
No.
PV.
So-
Yeah, no,
so-
if you got village residential, this, you don't want them popping up in the middle of Pond Street or something. you know?
Right.
I don't want to see a Y. I think
That's gotta be regulated, yeah.
The Board of Appeals where there's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
VP in the Y is good, because that's Main Street anyways.
Main Street, I have no problem, that's cool.
Yeah, and commercial, industrial's
I have
fine.
no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go with the RC1, RC2, and VR to PB?
We would have no problem with that.
I have no problem with that.
I think that, try to slowly clean it up a little bit.
I think when, this was an oversight that didn't get over to people.
Probably was,
I really
yeah.
think, You know,
Yeah.
you know, I was telling people on the board, I said, you know, you don't realize that lay people are coming up with this. You know, these are not some big genius lawyers that are coming in here and doing this
Yeah,
stuff.
this is-
We're doing it.
Right, it was good people trying to do good things.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
But it was also what,
Right.
the 70s or 80s when a lot of it was written too. And
Yeah.
and population, times, and everything has changed since then too.
Can I make a suggestion? So in other communities, I've found that sometimes there are provisions, this is a more general comment, but there are provisions where if it, you know, sometimes it goes to the Board of Appeals, sometimes it goes to the planning board via the chart. But if it has to go to the planning board for any special permit, they can be the special permit grant authority for all of it. So, for instance, the flying goose that came had to go to the ZBA for a special permit for something, and then had to come to you for a different special permit. If you were to make a grander change, then they would only have to be one-stop shop, and they could come here and get the special permits for everything. Once they have to come to the planning board, usually the planning board, you know, you have more control over the site, but, and you're elected, the ZBA is not elected, correct?
It's appointed.
It's appointed. So the, you know, in the hierarchy of boards, usually the deference is to the planning board, so that once you have to come to the planning board, you can let the planning, you oftentimes, I've seen the zoning bylaw says the planning board can do it all. And that gives you more control over the whole project, and it's not this piecemeal, let's go to ZBA for something, and let's go here, and let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, and what happened with Flying Goose is they went to the zoning board for a special permit for retail
Right.
in industrial.
Right, so if that's not, it sort of addresses the issue as to which board you should go to.
Right.
But it also says that sometimes, to have them go to two different boards
Sometimes they don't have to go to both
doesn't
boards.
make a whole lot of
Right.
sense for them and for you, because you're only doing one piece of it, and then the ZBA is doing
Yeah.
another piece.
That's
So
what we're
that's just
trying
something to perhaps think
Yeah.
about
Right.
when you're talking about cleaning up the bylaw in
We
general.
have been discussing.
Yeah.
Right.
Over
So
the
that's-
last, for a little bit of history, I'd say over the last, what, 8 years?
Yeah.
We've had actual sidebars and everything, and committees on like signage and stuff like that, to try to consolidate and clean it all up.
Right.
Make it all work.
Right.
So you're not going to 3, 4 different committees to get one thing done.
Right, sometimes you can't help it, you have to go
Sometimes
to
you can't
you
help
have to go to Concom.
Yeah.
You know, planning board can't usurp what Concom does, but
Right.
there are sometimes when, honestly, if it's the special permit, it's the same criteria that the ZBA would be discussing, that you would be discussing as a
Right.
board. And
If it-
it's
if it-
easier, if you're talking about being friendly, it's not just for businesses, but it would, you know, I'm sure Flying Goose didn't love having to go to 3 different boards, but that's what they had to do, and they're not complaining about it, but it makes it a little bit friendlier to say, okay, this is a project as a whole, and what do we want to see as a whole, and have one board make the decision.
Do you know the language on that, or do you know what town we could look at to find that language?
It depends on where you're applying, what you're applying for, and which district you're applying for in. I mean, if you're industrial and you're going to need a waiver or whatever, what's the word?
Special permit.
Variance or special
Right.
permit, you're going to have to go to the zoning board for that, no matter
Right,
what.
variance, I'm not suggesting that the planning board do variances.
Yeah, all
That
right,
should
okay.
stay, but
You
the
mean, you
variances.
can't one-stop shop all the time.
You cannot, and variances are are definitely the lane of the
Okay, all
ZBA.
right.
Special permits where sometimes you go to the ZBA and sometimes you go to the planning board, and we're having this conversation about, well, should it go to the planning board or should it go to the
Yeah,
Board of
okay,
Appeals,
I
and
know.
why?
All right, I follow you now.
No. Sometimes you have to go to both.
Okay.
But sometimes, if you're just getting special permits, maybe you don't have to.
Go.
Look at Dedham. Dedham. is the one that comes to mind most at first. I think I think most of the other communities that I've worked in have done that as well, but I remember particularly Dedham basically says if you have to go to the planning board for a special permit for one thing, you can also go there for the other things as well.
Oh, okay, maybe that's a
I thought we
easier way to do it.
previously outlawed that. You have to go to the planning board if you want the permits. The
Yeah,
zoning
no.
board can't issue them anymore.
Right, no,
And
so.
we had a town election and everything to determine that.
No, so what I'm not suggesting that if you go to I'm suggesting only if you have to go to the planning board, that you might be able to also go to, if it says it's the Board of Appeals, which it does on this sheet.
Yeah, but I'm saying that we changed all that.
Well, I guess.
Am I the only one that
It wasn't
remembers?
changed in the chart.
In the chart.
Well, we're talking what it should be.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
what's
I'm
in
not
the
saying, I am not suggesting that anytime they might have to go to the planning board, they go to the ZBA instead. I'm saying that the planning board's here and the ZBA is here.
Correct.
And so you're not going to send everything down.
No.
But maybe you send everything up.
Yeah.
Some things, not variances.
Not right. no,
Not everything,
okay.
but some
All right,
things.
yeah. I'm on the same page with you now.
Okay.
What I'm talking about, it was changed, was site plan review was with the ZBA, and that got changed to the planning
In
board.
Yeah,
2012.
That's what they
Yeah,
changed to the
but-
planning board.
That's what we do now.
That is critical. That should be the planning board.
But we had an issue with permits in general, and special permits. And I thought it was said at that time that it had to be the planning board.
It is. It is.
Zoning board cannot issue special permits.
No,
Well,
they
they
can do some
do.
things.
No meaning you agree with me, or no meaning you don't agree with me?
Well, reconstruction of existing non-conforming structures and not use special permits. So we're talking about use.
Yeah, it's two different.
There's a lot of,
Oh, well,
they issue a
that's
lot of
different.
special
Okay.
permits. I mean,
Okay.
every
Yeah.
community does.
But there would be zoning zoning and reconstruction on existing non-conforming situations. We're talking about, they're coming for site plan approval anyway, and it's in line with what we expect for site plan review. So,
And sometimes they have
be
to get a
coincid-
special permit for two different things.
Yeah.
Like flying goose.
yeah.
So what are we doing with this?
I think we should be, I'm gonna say, on RC1 PB, RC2 PB, and VRPB.
Okay.
Leave the YYY on the DB, commercial and industrial.
Do you
and
want,
the two ends on the other two items.
okay. Do you want a formal vote on
Which
that?
ones do we change?
Yeah, because you have to forward it to the selectmen to make.
Okay.
So-
Mike, what did you just read?
So we are
Favorable,
favorable recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
yeah, to the Board of Selectmen for the changing on the zoning on the restaurant.
PB?
We're gonna
Thank you.
leave the RA as an N, RC1 as a PB, RC2 as a PB, VR PB, and then the BB as Y, commercial Y, industrial Y, SFOS N. The RC1, RC2 was already BA.
Yeah, planning board.
So we're just
planning
making that a
board, planning
PB.
board, the rest of them stay
And the
the same.
VR originally was an N. And we're making that a PB.
Okay, motion's made.
Second.
Second by Jake. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I will
Good work.
type up a new one for you
Yep.
and forward it to you or Maria.
Yeah, Maria or Eve or Jennifer? Not me.
She did get an
Not me.
updated zoning. She did get a bunch of pages.
The new ones?
For a new one, but we're waiting for updated maps to add to the back.
Okay.
So, and then we'll start binding them, but if there's more changes, we'll just wait.
No, this one change won't happen in time.
That won't, oh, okay.
Right, when's
No.
town meeting?
November.
November.
Okay.
So there'll be a new one.
May I ask, Jennifer, what are you doing now in town?
I'm the Community Development Administrative Assistant. I'll be Maria eventually.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna be here 5 days a week.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not in the summer.
And Carol, do you know Eve?
I do not know you.
Hi, I'm the interim director of community development. I'm the planner for,
Planner.
yeah,
Wonderful.
for now.
And I have your
Tuesdays.
email address.
She's available Tuesdays, all day.
You're available on Tuesdays?
I am in the office on Tuesdays, and then I'll come to this meeting. I am part-time, and I'm hoping to help you find someone who will be full-time and will be the right fit. So I'm sort of just keeping the trains running on time until
Okay, thank you.
you get
Good to
someone
know.
full-time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for waiting. Okay, number 4 under additional business, Evergreen Estates. Request to build 4 duplex lots, 13, 15, 25, and 27. Before you start, so we need to be very general. We cannot approve anything tonight.
No.
Okay, so we're
This is really for
gonna.
discussion purposes, really.
Right, so the request came in, the approval of the planning board to build on the approved 4 duplex lots, 8 units. So we are not going to be discussing that. So it has to have a public hearing, so very general, name and address.
Yeah. John Nesta, Evergreen Estates LLC. We are, everybody's familiar with the Evergreen Estates property.
I am not.
It's the one off of South Street, right next to Ray Beegan's house.
Okay.
Erosion
When it's been abandoned for a
happening
couple
over
of years.
there.
Nothing there now, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I'm good now.
there's a road. Yeah, not anymore. It's done.
I know, I said the one
Yeah.
that's been
And by the way, we haven't closed, but we cleaned up all the debris and trash on the site. Yeah.
Good job.
So we had, obviously, before we closed, we had an environmental study. There was a ton of trash left there on site, tires, you name it, it was horrible. We got that resolved. Originally, it came in, I think last month, we had kind of a peer review meeting. We got educated, and which is great. I mean, that's what we need, right? We need to be educated. Our hope was to convert this to a 55 and older community. So rather than 27, you know, it would be 54 duplexes. And 27 54 units. Right now, it's been approved for 4 low to moderate income duplexes.
Under the flexible development bylaw.
And, you know, but from a financial standpoint, you know, you're putting 4 low to moderate income properties that aren't going to appraise for higher end, the same subdivisions. Kind of doesn't work. And I understand that we'll probably have to go for special permit to make a change. That process is going to bring us, what, until December at least?
Well, I'm working with Eve right now on this book. Again, there's no 55 plus housing in this book at all. I'm working with Eve.
There is.
Tiny bit.
There is.
Under flexible development.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list, occupancy of older than 55, I think, designated occupancy 55. We just read that this afternoon.
Just never had anybody come in and want to do
Is it
it.
number 2?
Really?
Yeah. So there is,
But I don't,
for every 2 dwelling units,
but it can't be, it cannot exceed 20%.
right,
So it can't be, they can't be all
right.
right now.
Right now.
Right.
So you'd have 6, or, yes, 6 or 7.
So, yeah, we would obviously want to, you know, go to special permit or special.
It would be a modification of the existing flexible development.
Correct.
So kind of what you want to do is make this whole area
Special
55
permit.
and older.
55 and older community.
The whole thing.
Which wouldn't be,
We'd have to
which wouldn't be a
buy
bad,
it.
a bad thing having
He
it
wants 50.
one whole area.
It's not allowed right now.
being
At all.
55 and
Dwelling
older, you know what I
units
mean?
versus
Everybody's
buildings.
the same.
Thought buildings.
They're all around us, but not in town.
Right.
They're everywhere, and you know, there's a big need for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's a beautiful area. It will, you know, I think it would be great for the town, and certainly it would work for us very well.
Okay, so, yeah, so that's a separate issue. So what would you like from the board tonight, generally
Well, I
speaking?
guess at this point, because I can't talk about getting permit, you know.
You cannot, yeah, before we have a public hearing.
At least, you know, have a discussion and get, you know, put in the right direction. You know, we'll be closing in 10 days. It's a $2.5 million nugget. You know, somehow it would be nice to be able to at least get something going there in the process, even though we've been approved. It's already been approved for.
So is it a valid permit at this day?
Well, it should be.
1 month ago, almost, we had the meeting, and we were supposed to get town council's
Yeah.
feedback on that.
And I know that we asked again this week, town council. I don't know if I didn't hear whether that that response. I only got back the A&R issue from town council.
Oh,
So let me
okay.
I don't know if Matt
So-
knows.
You're looking for 20, how many?
27 buildings,
27 duplexes?
54 units.
54 units, 27 duplexes.
Okay, so
I
under,
know that at our meeting that you attended,
It's almost the size of the town.
the site guy that did the work for the original owner, I want to say he said that he pulled off the site in 2017, and we're 2021 now.
yeah, we have, like, there's been an exchange, but we just got to get that verified from town council. Then I think the best course of action would be a modification to the existing flexible development along with a special permit for duplexes. You will need to meet the requirements of the flexible development for basic number of units, plus, if you're going to use the flexible development bylaw for the lot subdivision as it sits right now, let's just say if this is valid, then you can ask for the special permit for duplexes, but those are your dwelling units. So that would be counted into the calculation.
So when is this one?
And what he wants to do, though, is go
Alright.
completely,
Then it would have to be
Change the bylaw.
dissolved. Yeah, so either we change, there's a bylaw change, this is dissolved, it's reworked as a conventional subdivision, along with a special permit for use for duplexes.
455 and over only.
55 and older only.
So 55 and over bylaw, you would get some perks with that. So we don't have the bylaw. You can limit, you can make a 55 and over, but you're just not going to get any benefits at this moment. Like other towns give you benefit, but you can make it whomever you want to, you can designate
I'm
it.
not concerned about benefits, I'm concerned about getting, subdivision up and running in a timely fashion.
The up and running would be run with exactly what, if this is a valid permit, you run with this permit as it was approved.
And then amend it. You can
But
amend it.
can we amend it?
So this is developed on the basic max number plus 50%. And they have affordable mixed in here,
Right.
there's a whole
Right.
decision.
Right, they can call it whatever they want to call it. If they
Yes.
comply with your, already the affordable units, and call it whatever you want to call it to get going. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but the
No,
idea is
but you
these
can't-
are individual houses.
if he wants to go 55 and over, it's got to be different.
You can't do duplexes. With this plan,
This one you can't, we've established that.
yeah,
So he'd have to
so we
make
need
a-
something different, so.
This is a different
Duplexes.
Right.
animal altogether.
How big are these lots? Here, single family lots.
They're 2 acres.
Also use two-family, it's not allowed in the area.
I don't think we can talk
Here's a
about
copy of
Oh, yeah.
the proposed plan.
That's why I was
I don't know
asking.
if you can.
That's why I asked
Bob?
you.
Yeah, I don't know if we,
We're not a public hearing.
yeah, we're not a public hearing.
Is that the is this the current book?
These duplexes would fit
We haven't-
perfectly on
do
the
we
lots
have a-
as designed.
The other one is,
What he can ask us is if we think we'd be in favor of this plan or not, which I'm in favor
just don't
of,
have
but we
sense.
can't discuss anything other than that
Duplexes, two families are not
without a
allowed.
public hearing and
Is it
have
N
a plan
in
presented to
RA?
us.
If he was trying to get a sense.
Yeah, I think that's the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
Tracy,
So at this moment,
So how did they get the
two-family
two-
are
how did they get
not
them on here?
allowed, is prohibited
I don't know why they're on there.
Yeah.
in RA.
How were they approved in this?
Two-family.
subdivision?
yeah, they're not allowed in this, they're not allowed there,
No,
no.
Duplex, duplex,
No,
duplex.
he's requesting that.
But
And the other thing is, if you want to create
Oh, I
a
thought
over
that was-
55 community, it's got to be established as, we can't run with this plan. Because you're going to have somebody say, okay, I'm buying this duplex and then I'm going to sell it to my daughter. It has to be
You
developed. If you want to go just 55 and over, we have to have something in our bylaw or something that structures that it can't be turned over into something else
Well,
afterwards.
I mean, if you,
Don't.
right now, you can't even have two families in that zone, but
Right.
if it were changed to be a special permit, you could put in the
Conditions.
conditions that it has to be deed restricted.
Right, and it has to be
you
on
put
everybody's
the
deed and everything
Yeah,
too, though.
and you
We'd
cannot
have-
flip it to
yeah,
something who's not,
We haven't
and-
done one of these yet, so it's got to be
and
done right.
Have
That's
to
all I'm
have
saying.
restrictions in the homeowners association
Yep.
that nobody under 55 or only a spouse or a caretaker.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of.
Right. that's
We're
gotta-
plan-
that's gotta
this is
be-
planning
that's
to be
gotta
a
in
public
writing.
way.
It's got to be on the deed for the
Right.
parcel that's sold.
Right.
This is planning to be accepted as a public way, so no homeowners association.
there'd be no.
But
Homeowners.
my biggest concern, which I didn't really realize, that it's an N. So two-family in RA is not allowed, not permitted.
So
That's where you start.
Oh.
That's where we have to start.
I understand no homeowners association, but how do you, so if it's in the deed, it means that the person who owns it has to be 55 and older.
Correct.
But how do you restrict who lives there? So they could own, someone 55 and older could own it and rent it to me, and I'm only 54.
Uxbridge does it.
No.
Uxbridge does it. Stone.
I know, how do they, I'm just wondering how they do it, but that's why
Exactly what we have
a
to
homeowners
explore. That's
association or
what I'm
some kind
saying.
of
Oh, you're
documents
saying
around there.
trustees.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah,
something,
go ahead, do
something,
over 55.
there has to be some,
Mechanism.
yeah, if it's not a homeowners association, call it what you will, but it has to be something that restricts who can actually live there, if that's what you're getting the
Well,
approval.
Yeah, they have a trustee.
A lot of them in the deeds and everything, it says no children, I mean, it's.
At the moment, it's not allowed to
It's an
vote.
extended
It's not
allowed.
write-up
Yeah.
of it.
So
when you-
what-
when
how do you get
create
over
Right,
these.
but, you know,
You need to change the
Didn't your
bylaw.
original drawing have 3 duplexes?
it doesn't allow for,
Well, it
The
has
original
4.
conditions?
It has 4. 4
It has
buildings.
4 from the 2008 decision.
how did they
I don't know.
put duplexes on the place that doesn't allow duplexes?
Well, that's my question. It could have been,
So what Tracy's saying, I'm just newer to this and everything, is this not allowed, period. There's no, unless you change the bylaws in town meeting and you go to town meeting and all that.
well, that's what we're.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, that's a bigger thing, right.
Was it written?
Yeah,
somewhere?
there is a decision that I,
Decision
yeah.
Didn't we find it?
where it was voted on to have it?
Let me just double
I
check.
thought that was in the 2008 decision where 4 were already allowed.
Yeah, but they might have been, because
Even though
maybe they were,
the
maybe they were the
bylaws don't
affordable
allow
ones.
2.2.
Maybe they were the
Bylaws don't
affordable
allow
ones.
it.
I can't remember, Bob.
It was signed up. Well, it could have been like anything. A lot of
With it already started.
Take a vote on something where
Those smaller
you're going to do
lots.
this, we'll allow that, either by special permit
Everybody
or
wants a bigger
whatever,
bite.
Yeah.
or however it was done. Or
If my
just
But it
phone-
doesn't
ZBA
allow you to
knows.
even, technically, doesn't allow special permit as relief, you'd need a use variance.
But if you want for through ZBA.
Even in
you could have
a
done it.
flexible,
Yeah, but-
flexible development?
Even in the flexible development, it allows for affordable units and for 55 and older, but it doesn't,
But not duplexes.
I can't, I mean, I'm just looking at it with
that size,
fresh eyes right now, so I can't,
Yeah.
don't quote me, but
Without reading the.
it didn't appear as though duplexes were allowed, unless the affordable units were allowed in a duplex. And it's very hard to get use variances, and I don't think Douglas, some communities actually allow them, but I think Matt told
Now,
me
a
they
duplex
don't
is
allow.
allowed in flexible development.
I don't think
I'm
so.
looking at the decision right now.
Flexible development is.
In my tiny URL.
Right.
I mean,
Is that still a-
Can't answer.
It's
That was
hard
next
to-
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah, I can't answer
Yeah,
either.
3 of the 8 duplex units shall be developed as affordable units.
So, but how
So even
did
if you had duplex.
they get duplexes?
Let me see if they went to ZBI. Oh.
Special flexible development. Duplexes are allowed in flexible development.
Where does it say that? I don't, yeah, I'm looking under flexible
But
development.
Tracy just said that some of them have to be affordable anyway, even if you went that way.
Affordable, so 55 and over is affordable.
Not necessarily, no,
No,
no.
Percentage.
50, it wasn't mentioned 55 or older, and that was approved, it was just affordable.
But we want that old then.
Yeah, I know, but.
Well, I think you could,
We were under
I think you can exchange the 20% to 55. You can
that
get,
way.
that's your bonus.
Yeah, you could
Your
do it that
bonus
way.
dwelling units.
But not.
I don't know how you get the, I don't know how you get the duplexes. I mean,
But you're mixing a lot of stuff up there, because
Yeah.
most people that want to buy into an over 55 community don't want all that. They don't want families and kids and children and.
Right.
types of buildings, hold on. Oh, hold on, here we go. Types of buildings, a flexible development may consist of any combination of single, two-family, and not multifamily
Okay,
residential.
all right, good.
So they got special permit for
Jeez,
residential
I'm s-
development.
yeah, we gotta
With those
yeah.
items. So you'd need another special permit, and
With but you'd have to be flexible
it
development.
would have to be you'd have to get a new special permit with flexible development and have the board agree that these can all be duplexes.
Would that include, do you have to provide, if it's flexible development, now you're limiting your lots, your frontage and everything.
Yeah,
And
but you
that's
get,
that's part of getting the gains for affordable
Right.
housing also.
right, but
So you'd have to allow both.
Well,
What's your email again?
E-Tapper at.
And that plan was originally for that
He
road.
doesn't care about all the perks, he just wants a over 55 and duplex.
Yeah, so you need a new special permit for flexible development that
So
will
it'd just be
allow.
flexible development.
You could do a modification.
Ernie, that plan was originally
Yeah,
for that
but you've
road to
gotta
become
get
a public
Only
way though,
20,
too, right?
20%.
I'm sorry,
They were planning for that to be a public way,
No, here.
eventually that would have become a public road,
so
yes.
that would have to get changed for like something with
Okay,
homeowners
but the issue was
association.
dwelling
Unless
units.
they met
He can
all
only
the-
do a maximum.
Oh, the
This
roadway.
this is the issue.
Conditions and
I've
stuff
already
for public
told them
road,
that
yes.
you can only get so many dwelling
It was
units.
going to be a public
not
road
buildings.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because that's why.
And it still could be, because it's built wide enough.
50%
They
of
have to change the
that's
deed,
this
so
thing.
if it's planned for
Right,
55
so
plus, you need
it's-
to do something to
The
restrict.
conventional subdivision, it was already
Right.
established.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, so it's a much larger issue.
Requirements, 23 lots, so 23 lots is the established basic maximum number of dwelling units. So you get 50% of that, and you get there by doing all your extras.
So you could get 50% more units,
Yes.
but you could, which would not allow them all to be duplexes. Because you're only allowed
It's units, dwelling
50%
units, not
more
buildings.
units. So for 23, you can get
That's
another.
11, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
34
So that's
total
how we
dwelling
But
units.
what I'm asking is, he doesn't care about all the perks and all that stuff. What he wants to do is just strictly make it an over 55 community and put all 55.
So he could do
That's not-
17 duplexes.
And, right, so you
Is the
couldn't call it,
maximum.
you couldn't call it an over 55 community then.
Right,
You're gonna
because we don't
a
have that
variation of
bylaw.
Families, over 55,
Yeah, you
Kids, you can't-
right now, you can't do that.
right, you can't do that.
That, what you want is all 55 and older and all duplexes
Can't
is
do
not
it.
allowed in this.
Why can't he do it?
Because you can't have them all be duplexes, because you can only have a certain number. unless
Because in
you-
order
No,
in order to
17
get flexible development, you
duplexes.
have to have those.
Oh, you could, right, you could.
With
I guess you could-
affordable is the only requirement, so it would have to be the 10% or the 15% affordable of the 34 units.
For what, for just over 55?
Anything, yeah, for over
Well,
55
if you-
people
if you
that
could
are
write that up,
affordable.
That can be, if that's, I don't know. I'm
So
not a
it's
lawyer, so if
17
that's legal, that's
duplexes
fine
is the
too.
number, if you're going with flexible development.
Yeah,
If you propose a 55 and over bylaw,
yeah.
and we talked about doing a bylaw instead of doing the mapping with, if you meet
Right.
these requirements, you get to do this, then it's a different story. Then this one gets distinguished and you do 55 and over.
Or if you turn it back to a conventional subdivision, in 2-acre lots, 200 feet of frontage,
It's 23 house lots is the
It goes back
maximum
to
for a
conventional?
conventional, yes.
okay.
That's the base.
That is the conventional subdivision.
That's
Ernie's saying,
conventional subdivision, right.
and you could restrict the age, it could be age-restricted subdivision.
Right, but you couldn't put duplexes then either, though.
Correct, because it's not allowed in RA.
So I'm saying, it's,
It's a double-edged
So
sword.
either you got 23 single families, you got 34 dwelling units. If you go with
With
flexible,
flexible.
you're going to have to do affordable housing, or you
Right.
do 17 duplexes, which is 10 or 15% has to be affordable for dwelling units.
yeah. So you can't, you just can't go over 55 and.
This is a flexible development right now.
Right now it is.
Yes,
With
it is.
140-foot frontage, not 200, so it's already
I think
flex.
it's, because it's flexible, I think it's 100 feet of frontage, but I could be wrong. about
Right, but he went 140.
Yeah, it's 140.
Because of
Oh, he increased the frontage?
the width of the
Okay, yeah.
Requirement is
Right, but you want to put-
affordable,
yeah.
and you're making no money on
So you'd
those.
have to, but even
And
still.
and the
That's why we
side
do
setbacks.
Yeah, even
Why?
still.
Because it's required.
But currently, it's 100, you say.
This is the bad part.
It's 100 because it's flexible.
Right now, what's been
I'm
approved.
sorry.
Right.
Okay,
100
so-
feet of frontage and
Flexible
I think it's
development, automatic.
smaller lots also.
It's very hard to read these things on the fly.
Oh, yeah. I sent you the tiny
Currently
URL for this.
Currently.
Okay,
Somebody's gonna leave them.
for the,
For
He's
this
gonna leave them
everything.
as
The original
140.
original decision.
Okay.
He just
Seven,
wants,
100.
I got no problem with it, just that it's not allowed. I mean, if you want to.
All right, so I think we should work,
We'd have to create the bylaw.
my personal recommendation, not speaking for the board, we should work towards getting the 55 and over on the town meeting.
Town warrant.
Yeah.
That is my goal.
That's the goal.
And I'm working
Okay.
with Eve. She's given
And I think it'd
me
be great-
Foxborough, I think, to look
Something
at.
nice for the
I've
town.
looked
The
at
thing
Uxbridge.
For the town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The thing is
Foxborough
this,
does it
though.
without, doesn't do an overlay. They do it
Right. Uxbridge does an overlay now. Is it the understanding of this board you do not want an overlay district?
I don't want it where this can be one here.
no,
one there,
no,
one
we
there.
don't want an overlay.
No.
Okay,
We
so-
want
No.
it where if it's gonna be done.
It meets the
it's done in a
criteria.
project Like this.
Yeah, like a
Where
flexible development bylaw.
You have a road coming into an area, all right, off a main road, and then up in that area, you have your 55 and over. That would be the only way, and they could be twinkle lots, whatever, you know, so they all have this space and the whole 9 yards. But make it where it's nice, but the one here and one there, no way. Duplexes, no.
And that's the reason I brought this up when we looked at it originally, because like I say, putting the lower income duplexes in there limits what we're gonna be able to get for an asking price on the rest of it. So from financial, it just makes no sense, you know? I mean, it works, but you're not making,
I mean, it even needs, they're not lower income, they're moderate income.
Yeah.
Lower
well,
income and moderate income are two different.
But it would have to be 15% for moderate.
Right.
Now, were you looking for?
But I think we need to get moving, board,
it would be great.
because
but I don't-
this isn't even
She said
really,
We can't talk about that today.
no, no.
I'm getting really hungry.
I'm getting really
You
hungry.
gotta get a plan
So,
together in public hearing.
yeah, so you hear what we're saying, so I think that's the way that you should head.
Most we can tell you is the board doesn't seem to be objected to it, but we can't tell you more than that unless we
You
sit
need
down
to
with a
get the
public
ducks in a
meeting.
row first, I think.
Right, but you gotta, yeah, you gotta figure out if it's right for you or not with the
Or you can
current
do
laws
it.
that we
Well,
have.
so it would, the 55 and older would be right for me. And I think it would be right for the town. I guess.
It would be right, I think it would be right for the town, it's just that we don't have a mechanism
So,
to allow
What
it.
would
yes.
the timeframe be?
So you can propose your bylaw
Yep.
to town meeting.
Yep.
And what would the timeframe take, I mean, for something like that?
November.
For what, it's
Town meeting, yeah.
November, and then the Attorney General's office has, what, 45 days?
I don't remember.
Plus,
think it's
if
45
COVID,
days.
if it's COVID,
45.
time still.
So you're looking
So-
January 1st, round numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
To then propose whatever it is that you're proposing, and likely won't be special.
Bylaw change, to see if it would go through.
Well, that's what I was gonna work on, was the zoning bylaw change. Give me some direction.
Well, the applicant really should be forming that.
Not necessarily, because
Oh.
it could, if it's a special permit, if you're not doing an overlay on a particular
Yeah,
plot of land, and
yeah.
it's a special permit that is allowed in different areas of the town, but with certain restrictions, so you wouldn't have one here and one here, but if
Right.
another developer had a larger parcel that they wanted to subdivide and wanted to do that again, if they meet certain base requirements,
Right.
then they could come for a special permit as well.
Correct.
So
Yeah, yeah,
that-
okay.
It might be something that, I mean, you guys can work together, but it wouldn't be just,
Him.
it wouldn't be just.
Anybody can present
It
a
wouldn't be
bylaw.
Yeah,
just-
okay.
It wouldn't be just
Right.
for
Okay.
your parcel if
All right.
it's not
We
an
wanted
overlay.
to protect the town also, so we want it with verbiage that would protect us.
Right,
But you have
and
to
every
use
time you have to
friendly
come
on
for
the
a
other
special
side.
permit, that gives the planning
Yeah.
board control. Nobody can do it by right.
Okay,
and
so
these
you
are the
should be
requirements.
working with Bob.
I am gonna work.
Okay, all right. So we're fading fast, so I'm gonna bid you adieu.
Sound good?
Nice meeting you.
It's a pleasure.
The next
Yeah,
one,
thank you for
request for
coming in.
board approval on sale of
Good luck
project
with it.
assets. I thought we accomplished this. I'm not sure. Eve, do you have an update on that?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be a letter from the board.
Maria mentioned something about a letter from somebody that was
Yeah,
out.
we were waiting.
Oh, is this, hold on, is this the
Jackie
silver piece?
Firsty?
The
Yeah.
letter here, but
So,
it
yeah.
doesn't say
Yes.
how long the
Recuse myself
extension.
on it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say you're leaving.
So we don't have it. I did have an email exchange with Jackie about it. She thought that we were writing the letter, and our town council wrote to her and said, give it a first draft, you write the letter. I believe I'm going to speak to her on Tuesday hopefully she'll give me all the background and have a draft letter for us to look at.
Okay,
So
can-
it's going to
yeah.
have to go to the next meeting.
Can the board just, do you want to authorize me to sign this letter on
So
behalf of the board? It's gone on for way too long,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't really know
And it's not really
what
our
the
fault
issue
either.
is.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's not any more our fault than theirs, because
Yeah,
it's just been a
I
communication
think it's just
breakdown
that they
on
can't,
both sides.
it's
But
to make, I think it's ultimate, and I haven't had this conversation, but I've seen it in other communities, these kinds of facilities, if they transfer the ownership, they have to make sure it's going to be maintained correctly.
Well, we have something that we judge their financial capabilities in the decision.
Yeah.
And we, it's,
So I know
we-
nothing about it, but I'm going
we
to find
met
out
the
on Tuesday.
bar, and we already did this, and it's been like so many weeks.
You've been on the agenda a lot.
So many weeks.
Okay, so if the board. allows
I'll
you to-
entertain a
Yeah, I'll make
motion
a
on that.
motion to authorize Tracy to sign the agreement pending town council approval.
On behalf of the board.
Yeah, on behalf
Okay.
of the board.
Motion's made.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And one
Yeah.
recusion.
I'm out of it.
One
He's recused himself.
one execution.
Just for clarity, can I ask, just,
Approval for it.
We did that
it's an
one.
extension for how long? 1 year or 3 years?
We did 1 year.
1 year.
So the next item, scenic road.
I'm back.
Okay, Mike C is back. So I can pass around these pictures if you'd like. Yeah, this is from John Furno to a few people. It appears that the stone wall has been altered in a possible attempt to build a driveway onto Northwest Main Street. Also, a tree has been cut on the property, but it's unclear on the ownership as it is behind the stone wall. There's no trespassing signs
If it's behind the wall,
Yeah.
it's his, he can gut it.
No,
in
no, not
place.
necessarily.
For that reason, I will not go to the door. It's
The
not my
right-of-way
decision.
can sometimes include the stone walls.
Yep.
On Oak Street, they told me the stone wall.
Depends on the
Gentlemen.
road. You have to find out what the right-of-way is.
Point of
Go ahead,
order.
Tracy.
Can I just
Yeah,
finish
go ahead,
this
I'm
one
sorry.
sentence? But I believe a letter should be sent to them to appear in front of the planning board. So this is a scenic road. I don't know if we've requested them. I don't know how we could possibly get to them unless we invite number 40 Northwest Main, because it's actually on their property. I
like
could
it comes from
pass around, yeah, so, number
It's like,
35 Webster Street does not own any property on Northwest Main.
so, but if that's where they're altering to try to get out there, because it sounds
I
like,
can pass around these pictures.
I mean,
Seven was-
Yeah, it's not know, like,
They
if
say it's
seven's
unclear.
actually a violator.
right, it's unclear because it's 3 properties
Someone saw something, I think.
convene. Those 3 properties come to
35.
that point.
I know, what- this one says 7.
7 Webster, let me see.
Yeah, it says 7 here.
Say 7 right there?
Oh, maybe that's the lot number, that must
Yeah,
be
it's
the
at
address.
Yeah.
My eyes are too,
Right, it's just the one that
you
has
got
the yellow.
younger eyes.
I
A,
don't know those pictures.
B?
I didn't
Oh,
see
it says A and B. Unit.
Those are
A and
duplexes
B.
right there.
Oh, 7 and 9, yeah, right there.
Okay.
So, board, I don't know what you would like to do. I think that it is a trespass, and it should be restored. I would say that we could send a letter to the person whose property it is.
But
Or maybe-
is it more the person who actually did the physical work?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, send it to both.
So-
They're both property owners who did it.
Right.
No, it's maybe
3
it's all
property
3.
owners.
Yeah. So
The cease and desist for.
I think that restoring the stone wall, well, it's a scenic road, we have a scenic road bylaw.
No, right, that I understand, but what,
It's
we don't
right
know, are
here.
they doing it right now? Or they've already done
I
it?
don't, they've already done it.
Yes,
It's private
the
property.
tree was recently cut. The wall hasn't been taken down, but what they did, they took some rocks off and they put a perimeter out to Northwest Main Street with rocks from the wall, it looks like. So, and they haven't broken through the wall yet, but part of the wall's been
Stone
taken
wall's
down.
been altered.
They've made like a boundary where they want the driveway to go, and there's a couple of trees that have like cut down. Whether or not the trees are in our right-of-way or on town property or not, we don't know the width of the road there yet.
Right, so I would say a very general letter to the 3
Yeah.
parcel owners,
Yeah.
or 3, there's the
Yeah,
duplex
just-
and then one. If,
Review your-
Which one?
review your
You've
scenic
got 7 and
bylaw road
9,
Yeah.
and
before you
then
do
40, and
Yeah.
what about?
No,
it's
not that
39,
one,
40,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
39, 40,
but it,
35.
super general
You want it
because,
to 39?
Yeah, yes.
They took the pictures.
They're all there.
The stumps of the trees.
Okay, we can start it.
40 Northwest Main.
Those aren't, that's not the
30.
actual address, though. That's like the lot.
Oh, okay, lot
That's like
40.
the.
Lot 40.
The
yeah.
lot, the
Okay,
numbers
you have
are,
young eyes.
you
What's
can't
the
see
address?
it. You can't see it.
14 Northwest Main Street, 8. I think that, I don't know if that's Common or Northwest. And then that would be 7.
7 and 9 is the duplex.
You can read that.
So I would say a very general letter, because I think that this is a trespass and a court issue.
They should all know about it.
So-
3, and then
That Northwest Main is a scenic road. We have a bylaw. Any activity is subject to the bylaw. Any removal of the wall would need to be restored back to the, the tree would need to be restored back to
This is
the,
Northwest Main Street, so they took the.
I don't know.
Who do you want to write
This
the
is up
letter?
to Northwest Main
Probably
Street, and that's up to.
Town
You're halfway there,
lawyer, right?
Yeah,
No,
if we could get town council to write the letter.
you want
that'd be-
town council to write the letter?
Yeah.
You want the letter to come from town council? Okay, not the building inspector?
Right.
Okay.
Not all roads are like that.
Or at least he can like
Well,
draft, you know.
Yeah, draft it for the building inspector, because he would be the enforcement
Places
Right, so
officer.
I guess,
encompasses. the
my
law
first
and
question
the
is,
town right of way.
who's going to sign it? Who do you want to sign it? The building inspector?
So-
'Cause he's the
Okay. So I
enforcement.
will work with the building inspector.
Enforcement of the
draft the
scenic
letter.
road
And
bylaw.
it doesn't have to be legalese letter. I think it just could be fair.
Right.
Super simple, yeah.
So the building inspector, this
All-
letter will come from Ken
All-
Fraser, and I will work
be
with Ken
aware
on
that
Tuesday.
it has come to the attention that one of these parcels.
He's the
whatever,
enforcement officer, but the planning board has jurisdiction.
No, I
over
understand. So you
scenic
want him
roads,
to,
so-
you
For
want,
permitting purposes.
you want
Permitting
them to
purposes.
come to the next planning board
Well, it
meeting?
should say CC Planning Board, that the letter should be
Oh, yeah,
CC.
request your presence at the
Yeah,
planning
request your
board.
presence.
Yeah, because maybe we can solve a mystery.
It should be a cease and desist and just a general, we don't know
Cease and
who
desist to whether he doesn't have
Any
a permit.
activity.
further
Okay,
activity.
Okay, enforce scenic bylaw.
This isn't the first time that this happens quite often. So what it is, we try to get people in, and that they explain or whatever.
'Cause they probably don't
go
know
through
it
the
even
process,
exists. Yeah.
You know, then sometimes.
I wrote the regs for one of the towns I worked with, and no one ever knew what it
Is there
was.
another page to this we signed? Because the
Okay,
last
so
time we
enforce the
signed
scenic
the
bylaw,
thing.
I don't
CC the
think
planning
so.
board, and you want them to come to the next planning board
I
meeting.
could have sworn I swore, I signed them all, and then I had to come
What?
back in the next time.
I know.
If they want to continue or.
But how do you know who, you know, like, all 3 show up? I mean, if
Are
they
we
want to
off
come in
Zoom?
figures?
Well, no, they're gonna, what's gonna happen is that they're gonna call, they're
Each
gonna
other.
get the letter,
Did it?
they're gonna call each other, or they're
Huh?
gonna call
Okay.
There was nobody on there.
Oh,
Ken.
okay.
If
They're
they
gonna call
want,
Ken and say,
if they want a
Wasn't
permit
me, it was
to
him.
continue or move forward and do whatever, they're gonna have to.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
so
you
you'll
wanna
end up with the
put
guy
these
who
in
actually
the
did it
file?
here. 'Cause the other ones
Oh,
are-
I think you'll end up with the
To be
2 that
signed
didn't
file.
do
Yeah.
it. And the other guy did it, and the other guy didn't show up.
No, well, we're gonna ask all three. Okay,
Because they all know, neighbors know what neighbors do.
Yeah,
Cease
yeah.
and desist to all 3,
What am I doing?
and ask them to come to the planning board.
Where to look though?
August
How'd it come back?
26th.
Boomerang.
Okay.
And they can
gonna
just
be a
say like it's
long
unknown.
That's for the file.
They-
We don't know who,
Somebody
right, we don't know
knows.
who did it, but this has happened, we're not sure on
Bella
who's,
Woods.
It's just
who,
to be
what
signed, it's
abutting
going to
properties
Maria.
have anything to do with it, but
keep
we
the
want
pictures
to
with-
make sure, and if you don't think you did it, if it's on their property, even if it's, it has to be in the right of way for a scenic
Yeah,
bylaw.
but yeah, I mean,
No.
yeah.
No,
It doesn't.
adjacent.
No.
Yeah.
It can be on their property,
Yes,
and they can't touch it.
yes. They have to get a permit
They have
from
to come
here.
forward.
Oh, they have to, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's
So
designated, it seems.
Right.
what do we
I don't
know
remember, I
about
don't remember.
the meeting minutes?
I'm sorry?
What do we know about the meeting minutes?
Has no idea where they are.
So somebody needs to be working on them.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
can
know,
one
I-
of you, either
You gotta go
Maria
through
or
it, yeah.
you,
I was gonna look at them because there was a couple like typos and question marks in them. I just didn't, I was on vacation and didn't have a chance. And
we
it's just on
have,
my
we
mind.
have additional
But-
ones?
No, not additional ones.
Oh.
But there was some that were like, in our packet, we saw them for the first time, and there was a lot of question
I
marks
got
on
about
them.
a half a dozen of them,
Okay,
but there's no new ones.
right, so which ones do you have?
If we let this go, the next meeting will be really great, because it's getting late. But
Okay.
okay, I've got March 4th. March 18th. April 8th. April 22.
Okay, all
Months ago.
right, so the only one we don't have is 513.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
Did you review them?
I did. Are we going to sit here now?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
Are there a lot of revisions needed?
Well, we can make it quick. March 4th, the meeting minutes, March 4th.
We have
You guys don't have this in front of you, probably.
No.
We'll take your word for it, Mike.
Well, no, I have a problem here. We got, if you go to page 2, they refer to Jackie, question mark,
Firsty.
or Lori, question mark, is in
She was
here.
on Zoom.
She was a neighbor.
So
What's
what do we
Lori's
do
last
about
name?
that sort of thing? What, just
Why
drop
do we
the
ask every
question
single
marks
time?
or edit it?
I don't know.
Why don't we,
When's
let's
it
get
begin with?
copies for everybody.
They might be able to look at the video and at least get her address, like Lori from,
Yeah, I could probably do some research if you want to.
Do you want to wait
So-
till we have copies, we help Mike out with this, or does he just, I mean, what do you want to do?
Okay,
Yeah, okay, let's do that, Mike. Mike, we're gonna all get copies of this and do it with you.
okay. So where we stand is we have all the copies except for May 5th.
Right, and maybe for the next meeting, we'll have that.
I mean,
I looked
May
for lots of
15th.
minutes, I ended up watching it.
Okay. All right.
I watched you all last year on this Northwest Main Street project, trying to
you
figure out
did,
what the
huh?
issue was. The two of us.
It was a snoozer.
So I'll entertain a
I
motion.
did a lot of fast
make a
forward.
motion to adjourn.
Motion's made.
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, Cable.
back there, buddy.
Thank you.